Well, hello everybody. It's been some time. We've run through holidays. We've run through finals, Hell Week. We've finished the fucking season is over basically, but we're here. We've made it, and we are back with another episode of the Reruns Rewind with a lot to cover today. We've got to go through four eviction cycles because we fell off. So let's not waste any time. I'm your host, Shinx, and I've got my three other lovely hosts here as well.
I'm one of those. I'm Sydney, I suppose. Sorry. It low key is kind of my fault that it's been taking this long, but I've been in the trenches. I'm out of the trenches. I would like to also say the minute I got out of the trenches, which is like essentially today, I offered to record. I was like, guys, should we record today? And we all said yes. So I came back. I brought us all back together. Also, for all the listeners, I am driving back to where I live. So if you hear honking or me having outbursts on the road, or I don't know, just know that I'm trying my best, but like things might happen that I can't stop. So
That's her level of dedication. Is we are just doing it up.
Just a general road rage warning.
I can't wait to hear Sydney yell at a driver. I think it's just gonna add some flavor
I
to our
can't wait.
podcast. And hi, I am Alex. And I am day drinking for this podcast. So let's see how it goes.
You know what, real?
Hi, I'm Graham. Uh, it's also been a hell week for
mm-hmm.
your Sydney and I are the reason that this hasn't been able to happen. Sorry, but whatever.
Our
Uh,
bad.
our bad.
Our bad.
Our bad. And I am eating pho and drinking a Diet Coke straight out of the 2 liter.
You
This
know what? That's the life.
This is where life
That's
is right now.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Tis
He
the
knows we're home at.
Mazel tov. We need a knows where home at counter for the episode.
This is gonna be so bad. I can't stop saying
is
it. Like
Sydney's weekend.
I can't stop, guys.
I think we got about 3 or 4 in before we started recording.
I'm just gonna be making this podcast a fucking mess today. My bad. I'm just gonna apologize out the gate, but I'll do my best to be normal.
Yeah,
Please don't.
never be. I don't think she can try. Um,
Okay.
Complimentary.
yeah,
Gagged positively. Gagged positively.
Shane,
Wow,
what
someone
are
just
we
cast a
covering
jury vote.
today?
And someone in real time cast a jury vote. Anyways, here we are. So we have to cover cycles 11, 12, 13, and 14, which ended with the demises of Megan, Dominique, Alex, and Cameron. Where we left off,
Crazy for
Fucking
to
random.
go.
Not Chaser.
Crazy.
Ramses and Matt were gone, and we're about to introduce the Tree of Temptation twist, which was another set of fuck ass, just literally. And yeah, I think just to get into it, we have a classic knockout HOH competition. I believe this was the Twilight Sing Along. I think. I don't remember. I'm not even going to look because we got a lot of shit to cover right now. But it was a knockout HOH, which is what really matters. Jason and Dom obviously ended up in the top two because it's Jason and Dom.
hmm
And once again, Dominique wins. I think this was the sing along
Oh
because
yeah, this I was gonna say
It
this
was the sing along.
yeah. Kevin's glacier. Kevin notably lost HOH because of glaciers, which hilarious.
Yeah,
Well,
this
and
is
can I
the
also say Cameron was in his subs, like, I just don't know any of these songs. Where's the alternative? Where's the punk? And I was like, I mean, Paramore's in there. I feel
Yeah.
like that's pretty close. Like, it wasn't like these were like pop songs, especially in the first movie.
This isn't the Barbie
Um,
soundtrack. Like
it was
Oh my God.
like a Muse was in there, but I was like, okay. I mean, teach their own, teach their own.
yeah, no,
Exactly.
it
say what
genuinely
you will about the Twilight movies, that soundtrack fucking bang. It's a really good soundtrack.
That soundtrack, there is not a single criticism to be had about the Twilight soundtrack. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing, and that's why we had to make a competition for it.
Up there with the Great Gatsby soundtrack for me. That's also a really good one.
yeah.
Exactly.
True.
And I just want to say notably, in this season's great history of good moves, this is sarcasm, that Dom was like, I need to not win this HOH so bad. I don't want to win HOH. Like, I don't need to blow up my threat level because I'm already a big, I'm already coming out of the shadows, and like people are beginning to realize that like she's a big player, and then
Megan's onto her now.
Megan's onto her now, and then she's like, so I can't win HOH, and then she submits a perfect score for HOH. Um, and
Many
Well,
such
Did she
cases
even
this
run out
season.
the clock on that? Like allegedly in her mind? Or no, I think
no, I think to in her fairness with this one, Kevin was faster than her on their round, and then he was wrong.
yeah,
And I think her and Jason only went up by default because everyone else covered each other first. So I'm not gonna give Dom too much shit here. The first HOH, yes, she won a perfect score.
Like, if you
This,
don't want to win, why get a perfect
I get a
score?
perfect score.
well, I
Yeah,
will say with a knockout, it is hard to throw. A
I
knockout is one of the
agree.
harder ones to throw because you don't know which rounds to get wrong. You can't get like
Agreed, but
everything
if
wrong.
you
oh
get
wait,
if
Yeah,
you
you
get a
can.
perfect score, that means every round you're guaranteed to maybe win that round. Whereas
Yeah, I feel
if
like
you
at
at
the
least
very least you should
if
get
you
the
throw
last
a
one wrong.
few,
well, remember
throw a few. I
with
mean,
this version we threw in a twist of they would get all the questions,
no,
but
I know.
we would select with so they really to Allison's
Oh,
yeah, like throwing the last one doesn't matter because the last one can be the
yeah,
first
they
No,
one.
I know, no,
Yeah,
I agree. But I'm saying logically, yes, you can't know which questions you'll get thrown into. But if you have a 12 out of 12, you know for a fact that any round you get, you got it right. Whereas if
yeah,
you at least throw in a few, and also no one will actually even know how many you threw
I was just
because of
about
the
to say.
nature of the rounds,
yeah.
of the way it works. So
yeah,
actually, it makes way more sense if you're like dead set on being like, I can't win this, to pretty much throw every single one, if not close to every single one, because no one's actually going to see your full score at any point because of the way the competition works. So,
yeah.
like,
This
I would say she absolutely had a strategy on how to throw if she so desired to throw, and she did not.
I just think it was really funny. I love it. Like I love it when that happens
And this
because
has happened like 3 other times this season
correct.
alone.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't understand it, but she was just like, I need to throw, but I love music. So it was so
she
funny.
was the spirit of Twilight and the spirit of the Twilight soundtrack. Her spirit could not help but respond. She
No,
had to.
and
She had to respond to the
Which is funny
call.
because she famously really dislikes any competition that has to do with predetermined Twilight knowledge. So I think it really was just the soundtrack speaking to her, just like on an organic level.
Well, and
We're just
also,
witnessing
I'll
her discovering that soundtrack, and that's beautiful. So
no, I agreed. But I'll also say, how can I put this in a kind way about it's not about Dom, it's about everybody in this cast.
just spit it out, babe. We'll glaze
Uh
over it later.
right, yeah. I mean, okay, like I've said this in Spec Lounge and it continues to be true. This cast just has like an ego problem. And I think that's part of what happens when like this cast is like, I I can't win this because of my comp threat level or my threat level or whatever, which is usually true. It's like, but it's they all kind of have an ego about themselves and their threat level and their games and also just themselves. And I think almost like when they like how kind of how in Mark was like, I have to throw this competition, but then was like, God, that competition was just so freaking easy. Like I had to get a perfect score because there's no way anyone would have missed any of those questions. But I had to let the time run out for like a minute because God, it was just so easy. I couldn't believably throw it any worse than that. And then he like blew everyone out of the water. It's like this kind of ego thing that I think a lot of these cast members have where like they really believe in themselves and they really kind of believe their own hype to a point where they do stupid stuff. And I mean, it continues to be really funny, honestly, and continues to put them all in trouble. So I do think like they're seeing the consequences of it. And I don't think this is just about Dom. I honestly can't think of anyone in this cast who doesn't have this problem. Like maybe Christmas.
Kevin,
I don't know. Like
maybe
maybe Josh
I love that Christmas
here.
has also been running her own Pickering campaign from Spec Lounge. So I respect that so much.
No, yeah, but like maybe she didn't have an ego problem because Josh was just like AWOL. Like Josh like had no
Yeah.
personality. But like I genuinely can't think of a
Matt
single
doesn't have an ego problem because we might not even be getting a jury vote. So
Matt. Yeah, I would say Matt was pretty humble. Like maybe
Matt
a
was
little
just like
bit
busy eating cereal.
misguided.
Literally.
Yeah, like maybe some misguided in his strategy, but I mean, even Ramses pointed it out when he was like, "Wow, y'all feel really safe, huh? We'll see how that goes." Like literally,
That was
for like dead
delightful. I
ass,
enjoyed
dead
that
ass.
entirely.
It's like, why do y'all feel safe like this? But like, I'm telling you, like this cast just has like, there's just something about this particular accumulation of personalities all intersecting in this particular in this particular season. It's like they just all kind of share back and forth this problem where like they just really believe in themselves or like, and it's great to believe in yourself and be confident, like, and I think we all like that about them, but it's also like it then sometimes becomes too much and it becomes their own downfall, and it happened kind of over and over and over and over again. And I just think this whole competition thing where people say they're going to throw and then don't throw at all is just like one example of that, or a
Mm,
side effect of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Sydney just being like, sometimes self-esteem is bad.
And it's like, I mean, like, we have to be a little humble, like, a little. Like, I mean, we can't all believe our hype too much. But I mean, honestly, I think
I mean, you're supposed
the
to keep the
humbling.
hype to the subs. That way you don't look stupid when you're wrong.
Yeah, right.
And then
Well,
you
I
can just
mean,
cross post the screenshot if you're right. That's the way to.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I do think pretty much everyone with the biggest ego problem at any point in the season, all of them got humbled because they all got evicted. So, like, I mean, I'm not even gonna throw salt in the wound because I think that is what's more humbling than being evicted. I mean, that's pretty humbling. So, I think they all saw the consequences of their actions, but I do think it's just funny. It's something and I think I mentioned this in SpecCon before, so I thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, Dominique wins HOH. I did go and look. She won the final round with a time of 18 seconds to 31 seconds. So clearly throwing was not in this woman's nature. But you know what?
No.
That's
LOL.
okay. That's, that's just how life goes. So we also have our trio of
You gotta
temptation.
slay.
That indomitable competitive spirit is really
Yeah.
The indomitable
The
alphabet spirit.
indomitable competitive
The
spirit.
yes,
indomitable
indomitable. There we
alphabet
go.
spirit.
Alfalfa.
Sorry, continue.
But yes, we have the Tree of Temptation twist, which flopped in the real show, but actually
Actually,
did
was the best twist probably
did
of
a
this
lot this
season.
season. Yeah.
Yeah. Like honestly, like they just kind of whatever worked in the show didn't work here, and
You
whatever
know,
didn't
whatever.
work in the show worked here essentially.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
So yes, the
Balance.
tree of temptation is basically production with the there was a tree in the living room. They had 5 apples on it. At some point, the tree would randomly glow red, and whoever went to the DR and was like, "Ooh, I want to pick the apple," then got to pick an apple, and whatever that apple said, punishment or prize, they had it for that week.
mhm.
So we would drop the tree at random times. We had a whole bunch of bot shenanigans, but the point is, we do it. Dominique is like, you know what? I want to take the apple. Does it wrong, tries to do it at her DR when we say do it in public, and then sits there for like 10 extra minutes, debating if she should try again. Then she just does it anyways. We're also like, why did no one else try? You know what? Whatever. It's
Hmm.
She took her HOH by storm and lucked out, probably getting honestly the strongest power on the board immediately, I would say, low key.
Yes, absolutely.
Getting
Yeah.
to nullify 2 eviction votes, which basically guaranteed with her as HOH controlling
Whatever she
2
wanted to
votes.
happen would happen.
Yeah, whoever she wants gone post veto will be going because and especially because Dom herself already likes to count votes before things happen. This
Uh,
made her job a whole lot easier. And so naturally here, Dominique has been gushing to her bisexual alliance of Alex, Cameron, and Kevin about the leftover strategy in the real show, which is sort of abridged from the cookout strategy and the brigade strategy, which basically does like you have your core alliance, you pawn each other, you have your parachute external person and stuff. Just that way you never leave. So with this, Dominique is like, okay, Alex is a comp threat. I'm gonna nominate Alex, so Alex can win the veto and make sure Megan goes home. But also Dominique had to do that because Dominique is still in an alliance with every single person in the house. So and her priority was, at least to some extent, was the butt slut still, even though she had a lot of love for the bisexuals. I can't take myself
Right.
Tell us about bisexual butt sluts, Shanks. Can you say that again?
I just can't take the shit. Dominique liked both of her alliances a lot, but her ride or die was Jason. She held her stock with that alliance in spite of her love for Cameron and the other alliance. But she was never touching Cameron for the record. But Alex and Kevin were thrown to the fucking wolves, and Megan had to die. That was her thought process there. And Cameron obviously hates this because he's like, why do they keep nominating each other? Alex and Dom have done this back to back now, and guess what? It's gonna happen again. Cameron's literally
You
sitting
just get a
here.
taste for it, and you're like, "That's fun. I'm just gonna keep
Cameron's sitting here like trying to fucking keep Alex off the ledge and like keep Dominique away from her. It's like, Cameron was in the trenches this week, and it
What is
just
Cameron
going."
not
For
in the
just
trenches, to
his
be honest with you?
honestly, yeah.
Cameron
Even
lives
on
in the
the
churches.
even
You know
and
where
like
his home
I'm not
at?
even saying this as like a as like the Cameron stan of the group. That's clearly occupied by but like honestly, even the weeks where Cameron was like pretty safe or like super safe, he kind of even those weeks he Loki's still getting like yelled at and insulted and stuff. So like he kind of just like lived in the trenches like
Also a
for
victim, bro.
That
he's
was
like
his
he
home.
is I mean what's the stiv I'm thinking of? You're a victim. That's not right. Something like that though. He is a victim.
Yeah,
Like
you're a victim. Yeah, some shit like
you're
that.
you're you're a victim. Like I mean like I agree
Everyone.
with that. Like he kind of be going through it. Sometimes in a way that's a little bit self-made a little bit. But yeah.
Self-inflicted.
But
Yeah.
I think we'd also be whatever the word is, some bad word that if we don't mention this, that Dominique is on her fucking Wicked binge and made a whole Wicked themed nomination ceremony. Said fuck the keys. We're using wands, we're using spell books, we're using cauldrons, the Grimir, whatever the fuck. I don't even know how to say that word. I didn't see Wicked.
Ceremony.
That yeah, that shit. She just went the whole 9 yards, taking votes, nominating people. So I made a fucking green skin Dom Faba. Like, you know what? And she thinks Dom Faba's going on the DVD cover. Dom Faba's not going on the DVD cover. Dominique is. Dom Faba is staying in the server where she belongs.
Yeah.
And that's
You're a
simply,
hater.
yup. And that's where life
And
goes.
we'll keep it that way.
So yes, Dominique nominates Alex and Megan. At this point, Raven is also like freaking out over nothing because Dominique has all this power and Raven is scared, even though Raven is full and well safe. But she is clocking Dom that Dom is becoming a bigger and bigger threat. But that threat is not
Yeah.
pointed at Raven's direction at all. So
Yeah, this
I feel
this
like
cycle was
oh,
huge for Raven and Veronica's like plan because once Dominique won HOH again here and then like consolidated all the power for herself, that like freaked out Raven and Veronica to the point that they completely changed their timetable of because Raven and Veronica were always going to turn on Dom and Jason first. I think that's just in their nature as I was gonna say people, that feels crack
as
calculated.
Demon Twinks.
But as Demon Twinks, yeah. Raven
there is an
and
archetype for a reason.
Veronica were going to turn on Jason and Dom before Jason and Dom did. But
Yeah.
the original plan was not to turn on them as early as it ended up happening. But again, because Dom super like kind
Building up
of
momentum.
built too much momentum.
She was insane. Like why did she do this?
I feel like this is worth bringing up now is
Yeah.
I was surprised to see that Dom grabbing the apple was listed under best moves because to me that was one of the
That was
worst
one of
moves
the
of the
worst
season.
moves.
It
Yeah.
was like I think
Like
in terms of like
It was
what
good
getting what
in
she
getting her.
wanted,
Yeah.
yeah, like in
it was
terms of like
terrible for threat level management. It's bad enough to win two HOHs like in a row, basically. But then
I
to
think
like go about it
yeah.
in a selfish way and claim power for yourself that ends up negating two votes and
While you're
everything. Like
already in power.
when you're already in
Yeah.
power, it just comes off as greedy and steamrolly. And like even if
And
that's
it
not your
yeah.
intention, that's how it comes off to your allies. And like that's
I
just not great.
I think it's the contrast of like which I think if we're talking best moves, we have to be talking somewhat long term. But
Yeah.
I think in terms of like a short term move, obviously it was the best move she could have made because she happened to pick the right apple and essentially guaranteed whatever she wanted would happen. But obviously, yeah, as like a long term move, it was insane and totally unnecessary. Like, especially because like I think if someone like at this point in the game, if someone like Kevin had won, or like even Alex had won, or Cameron, it might have made more sense for them to go for the apple too, because they're kind of already fighting against they're kind of fighting against the tide.
Yeah,
Whereas
they're fighting
Dawn
uphill battle.
knows, she knows how well positioned she is. Like she's aware of it. She knows she has all these allies. She has a very strong duo with Jason, who she feels very protected. I'm sorry, this semi Semi, don't even try it. I'm sorry, I had to say that. He tried to try me right then. Don't
Uh-huh.
cut me off. Okay, sorry. Anyway, sorry. I'm sorry.
So that might be also a good time to drop that before we started recording. Shinx had to say that he's curious to see if we'll hear Sydney get into an accident mid podcast.
He said that. That was not me. That was
Wait,
Sydney.
was that Graham? Am I
That
really
was Sydney
Sydney
herself.
saying it herself.
Don't put that shit on me. Do not put that shit on
The
me,
way
bro.
You are getting blamed
like
for every white man's crime.
Stinks
I'm
is
so sorry.
plotting on me.
That was
But
Sydney said that herself.
yeah,
Sydney
no,
said
I'll
that
I'll
herself.
correct the record here. I
That
was
was
the one who
not
was
me.
like, guys, wouldn't it be really funny if halfway through the podcast I have like a Looney Tunes ass car crash where it's just like me like cartoonishly like rolling 7 times. I said
Oh
that. No,
my
but
I love how my brain
not
just blamed Shanks. I am so sorry, Shanks.
I'm the fucking victim. Anyway.
honestly,
The
Shanks victimized me yesterday. Anyway, so just all that to say, in a short term sense, I mean, it was a great move because she did get what she wanted, which was to kill Megan. But in like a long term sense, it made no sense. She didn't need the extra power. She didn't need the HOH, let alone the extra power. Like she didn't need either. And
She
people
also
did,
didn't need to get rid of Megan there too. There was just a
yes,
lot of
yeah.
Yeah.
didn't
But
in
and
that
people
move. Like,
people totally clocked it as like this is a greedy thing to do. Like
yeah.
damn, like you're gonna take
I
everything, double
I
homicide.
think my stance on the Apple, the best there's there's two people who really should be going for it. The people on the bottom because it's the way to save
Yes.
yourself, and then the HOH or their close allies because it's the best way to keep things on track. See, as HOH, you know that whatever punishment you get cannot evict you this week, so you have really no risk of anything. Like, oh, like the worst thing that Dom could have gotten was sitting out of the next HOH, which she's currently in HOH. She would have missed like HOH she might not even be in the house for. So like, who cares at that point? It's 2 weeks away. I want to get what I want right now, and if I can't play, like, we cross that bridge when we get there. So I don't blame. It was greedy, but I also think to keep your HOH on the rails, you have to go for it, or one of your allies has to go for it. And
Maybe that was her
I don't.
problem. Like, I think she should have. I mean, again, this is all hindsight, but like, I think maybe she would have been better positioned if she'd gone to her alliances or gone to Jason or Veronica or Raven and been like, hey, I'm thinking this is kind of what I want. What do you think about that? And also, maybe we should go for the Apple because that way we can control exactly who leaves this week.
Yeah.
And I want your guys' input on that. Like, this is what I want, but I also want what's best for us. And if one of you take it, we also then can kind of like, spread the power around and it can kind of be beneficial to all of us. Like, I don't know how much that would have worked because everyone on the season is insane. And it's hard to even predict what they do in the next 5 minutes, let alone what they would have done in this alternative universe. But I mean, I think that would have been at least worthy of trying before she just like decided to go for it. I
Which
mean,
is
the
not
fact that she decided to
ironic.
go for it, her own allies were freaking out about her getting it.
yeah,
Like
because she
that
didn't
that's
tell
not a good
anyone. She didn't tell
it's
anyone
not
she
a
was
good
nominating
sign.
them. Just
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not a good sign. Like it's just like
I
and
feel
again,
like
this is
you
all
can
for
be
a
as
week she didn't
visible
need.
socially as Dominique if you're not as also super visible as far as like comp wins and twist like benefits and everything. Like one of the things that someone told me that really I took to heart and has like been super beneficial for like playing and everything is that like you want your allies to be building as like decent a resume as you, or at least to think that they are, right? Like you don't want like your resume to suddenly like be outstripping them by miles so that they want to take you out, which is what we saw this week with Dominique is like she grabbed that apple. Suddenly all Raven saw was like, I need to murder Dominique immediately. Like I really think this was the beginning of Dominique's downfall. And like she did not need that apple. And I understand what you're saying, Shanks, as far as like conceptually the HOH, they can grab that apple and everything. But like, I think if Kevin did that, yeah, sure. Dominique is just, she's in alliance with everyone. She can't be doing that shit. Like
yeah.
she has to be playing a more low key under the radar game right now until like you're further into endgame.
Yeah, it's just funny how the very first sin was a woman who ate.
An apple.
A woman who ate that apple. No,
This is
I
the biggest
yeah.
sin.
The very first
Try
sin.
being a woman who plays Org's Gram, okay?
Yeah. Funny how the very first sin was a woman who ate. Yeah, it was just we've lost Sydney, but she'll be back at some point, I'm sure. She's driving through the middle of nowhere, so she'll be fine.
Yes.
Um, I just like, yeah, and I don't want to spend too much time on this. I mean, this was an important thing to stop and talk about because it directly impacts what is to come. So it's like, okay, we do have to address this. But we have a couple other evictions to get through, so I don't want to harp on it for too long. But yeah, it was just like the lack of like social awareness of where your like level is in the game of like not being able to perceive like what you would need to do, because while I do think it was good for her to get control and consolidate, it was not good for her to get even more like eyeballs on her. And I just think that it was that lack of being able to kind of step back and look at your positioning in the house where it was at that time that kind of sealed her fate there, which I thought was interesting. It was also really ironic because Dominique was getting mad about everybody doing things and not telling her. She was like pissed that people would do things and not tell her. She was mad that people used the veto on themselves. Like, you know what I mean?
They weren't team players, okay?
And
That was
then
yeah,
she
that was this
goes,
week where I was going to mention
yes.
that.
Yes. And
Just
then she goes and grabs the apple and doesn't tell anybody or any of her allies before she does it. But she gets so but then she gets upset when people do things and don't tell her about it. It's just it's like I love it. It's so camp. It's so camp.
like imagine the crash out if Veronica used the hex and didn't tell Dom she was going to use the hex. Dom would have tried to murder that woman.
That would have been bad. That would have been
Yeah,
bad. Yeah,
but
and poor Megan. Poor Megan has been the real like let's talk about that for a second.
Megan has
We
been in the
left
trenches
Megan
in real
and
life. Honest to God.
she was like gone from the game for like 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, she was still in the game, but like she
I
was
think it was
dealing
like
with
a week and a
IRL
half.
stuff.
Like IRL, I think it was like about a
Yeah.
week and a
And
half
I
that she was
think
not.
it's the worst thing for Megan here because even though she was out of the game for these 2 weeks, at least even if her real threat level wasn't this big, the perception of her threat level got so big, and the
Yeah.
fact that she was able to stay off the block while being so busy, it did not do her any favors. Because even Megan is still confused. Like, I was a big threat. I wasn't here. What are you talking about? How was I doing X, Y, and Z? And all this stuff, and meanwhile, these people want her dead because of everything she did before she fell off, respectfully. So it's just like very unfortunate that Megan's momentum hit a stop because of some unfortunate real life scenarios that we need to get into. But it was just really unfortunate for Megan's game, and I think she had a lot of potential. It just hurt. The way Raven and Veronica feel about Dom now is how Dom has felt about Megan since like week 3. So it's been building and building, and it just Megan really needed this HOH after getting tipped off that Dominique is no longer a friend, and it's unfortunate that Dominique wins the next HOH. It's just unfortunate for Megan here.
Yeah.
I think Megan left solely because she got her way too much in early game and it freaked Dominique out and she made her this big bad villain. And like
Yeah.
Dominique went on like a fucking rampage
It was
against
that and
Megan.
Jason being a fake bitch. No offense to Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, I love my Rat King. It's fine.
Because
Which is funny
Megan
because
I think part of why Megan was in so much trouble is that Jason was feeding all her information to Dom, not too dissimilar to Jeevan, Sydney, and
And I
Cole
support
in
him entirely.
7, where Sydney would take all of Jeevan's information and run it to Cole. That's not very far off from what was happening here. So it's just unfortunate for Megan that her and Jason talked about on Jersey that her number one
Okay, I'm sorry.
happened to
I'm
her.
smoking a cigarette, but I have to say something here because you're right about that. But the only difference is that I was actively trying to keep Jeevan alive
And
because
Jason was
Cole,
not.
Cole,
And
Cole,
Jason
yeah,
was actively trying to pit them against each
yeah,
other.
I was
Yeah.
mediating. Like as much as I was running everything to Cole, which I for sure was, I was also trying to keep them from killing each other. Jeevan, like Cole was aware, but like Cole was never gonna go, like was never gonna move against Jeevan because he knew Jeevan and I were so close, and he felt like Jeevan was essentially like a little mosquito because everything Jeevan did to plot on Cole, I was telling Cole. But then with Jeevan, I was actively trying to keep Jeevan from killing Cole to like try to make sure that they didn't fight. So like I was running a mediation clinic between those two, whereas Jason was just trying to kill Megan. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really ironic that what happens to Megan this week immediately happens to Dominique the next week. Where it's like she got her way, Megan got her way too much. And so then they got rid of Megan, and then Dom got her way too much. And they got rid of Dom, and then Alex got her way too much. Then they got rid of Alex. You know what I mean? It was like
Yeah,
this like
just
whole
That's
like,
why you have to be real fucking careful what
yep,
you pitch to people.
yep.
Because if it applies to you too much, suddenly they're gonna go like when you plant your seeds, you can't really control what it grows into. So you have to be careful where you plant them.
You have to
Because
be careful
like,
how you water it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's and then we get then we yeah we circle
yeah.
next to Alex wins the veto.
Fan cam fumble, Yankee
And
swap,
Kim,
a whole bunch of swapping. Thank you, Graham. Nothing really came of the swaps, really. No one did anything to. I guess, okay, the one thing that came from the swap, I forgot to put this voice ring, but actually, Megan got a punishment. She had to attach herself to
yeah.
somebody. And Megan thought she would attach herself to Dominique and sabotage Dominique's campaign to get her out. But unfortunately, all it really did was stop Megan from keeping herself to campaign in. Because Dom would go into every one-on-one, be like, hey, evict Megan, please, right in front of her fucking face.
It's wild because Dominique was in her DR being like, it is so obvious how much of a social force Megan is just watching her in these one-on-ones. And meanwhile,
Megan's not
attached to the
doing anything.
one-on-ones, the only thing Megan is literally saying is like, hey guys, if it wouldn't be too much of a bother, could you consider like maybe keeping me? Meanwhile, like Dominique is in the corner, like slapping like a bat into the palm of her hand. Like, if you fucking dare, I will take you out. It is just such a wild series of events. And like, I
It
don't
was
know.
villain of the season, villain of the
Dominique.
season.
It
Anybody?
really, that's the thing is like, I think it was legitimately more villainous behavior than Raven calling people like fat, dumb
crazy.
sluts or whatever, because
Yeah,
like, it was more psychological terror, you
it
I
know?
was
mean, you still
crazy.
got, I don't want to mention Raven and Megan have, up to this point in real time, Raven and Megan have not spoken since like day two or day
Since
three.
since when Megan nominated Raven and Raven immediately came back off the block because of the
That
data
one-on-one
protection,
has been
they
empty.
have
I can
not
fit their
they have
entire
not
one-on-one
said
in
a
8 phones for
word.
some
And I
They
time.
have
respect
not
that.
said a word.
So you've got Dominic in there like, hey guys, no kids. And Megan Raven's like, no, I'm
That's
voting this bitch
hashtag
out.
real.
It was just crazy to watch Megan like attempting. Yeah, so Alex wins the veto. Megan gets this imprint punishment.
And this is where Dominique is like, I know
Yeah,
Alex won't be a team player and leave herself on the block. I'm like, why the fuck would she do that, bro? What are
yeah.
we
Dom
all
gets pissed at Alex, and
And get
Alex
mad gets mad at her for not keeping herself on the block and is
yeah.
mad about it.
She gets mad that Alex isn't gonna keep herself on the block, even though she won the veto to take herself off. And then she's
square
also trying to campaign against Megan while
in
Megan
front
is
of
doing
Megan?
that. And so Megan is like, hey, please keep me. And then Dominique will come in immediately and say, hey, don't do that. Hey, how about you actually vote out Megan? Like, it was the wildest series of events I have ever seen. It was
I
insane.
feel like okay, I understand that Megan did this to herself by chaining herself to Dominique. And I do understand that Dominique has the right to like do her own campaign to try to
Yeah,
get
she
her
has the
way as
right to get
HOH and
back. Yeah.
everything. However, I have to say, it came off as Dominique kicking someone while they're down. It came off as slightly bully behavior, even if that wasn't the intent. And
Dominic's optics this week were just
it
I
was just
in
think
the
bad.
it's
in
not
the
helpful because
toilet.
Dominique
In the
already rallied
toilet.
the votes to get Megan out before this
Yeah.
and had the nullifier. So like Megan was already playing on her back foot here.
Yeah.
And so I don't think she realized that she was giving herself this disadvantage, but she
No.
she did.
I
And I'm
think
not
this is when I was like, "Oh, Dominique's the villain of the season, isn't she?"
Yes.
Like
This
this
Yeah.
is
that's how
this
I
is
felt.
this is like
And
the week to
yeah.
point to as Shanks. You're campaigning for Raven. This is what I point to.
And,
Yeah.
and 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 I think part of the wing, wow, I was just missing my metaphors. Part of the wind that gets taken out of the Dominique villain of the season sales is because the way Dominique later goes out, which we'll talk about, is kind of really sad. But
Yeah.
I think we can't let that make us forget or have amnesia of all the crazy shit that Dominique was doing up until like her back was like completely against the wall herself.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what I meant, and I won't get too much into this either, but like when I said like, and this is just my opinion, like we all view these spectator awards differently. But for me, it's like a villain. I do agree with what Shink said in Spec. That was like, you either love to hate a villain, you hate to love them, or you just hate them. Like I mean, obviously they're going to have to fit somewhere in that. And there's been all kinds of villains throughout BBR history. I I don't think I ever hated Dom, but like for me, a villain of the season is also someone who has power to enact their agenda. Like there's
Yes.
someone who like I'm thinking of, is it Paul who called people a cunt? I can't remember. Oh
Yes.
God, sorry. I forgot we can't say slurs. My bad.
Vegan?
I mean, I'm just quoting a
In
man who
real
said
in
it.
real life, it was
Yes,
Paul.
yes,
In
yes. In
reruns, it
real
was
life. Sorry, sorry.
Ethan.
In real life. No, I'm talking about in real life, Paul.
Jesus
Like,
Christ. I was like, oh my
like, like,
God.
Paul. Like,
It's
I
okay,
think.
Sydney. We can say Dyke and Nakati listed, so we can probably say that.
Okay, my bad. But I'm just quoting what he said on the show, or like I'm sure it was censored. But like someone like who has a villainous personality, but also has power, like can make
Yeah.
it in the
Yeah.
game, or is able to evict people, like, or is like maybe just like a direct foil of power to whatever hero is in power, and they're kind of playing off of each other. So for me, it's like with someone like Raven, who is, I think, like a petty villainous little bitch, lovingly, I suppose. Like, I mean, yes, Raven is definitely not very nice. Like, Raven has been calling everyone fat and sluts and whores and bullying, whatever. Like, well, for sure, like
And
that's
her and
Whatever
Veronica
important.
just
happened in
fucking
Jury?
1-2 jumped Cameron yesterday and
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
Jury.
yeah,
one thing is
like
crazy.
Raven is not a nice character. Like, she's not playing as a nice person by any means.
Mm-mm.
But it's
She's not
like,
America's sweetheart, but thank God we don't love the sweethearts. Like,
right, but it's like Raven for the most part. Like honestly, like I mean, I think I speak for all the hosts where we all thought Raven was going to be like a pre-jury boot. Like as soon as
Yeah.
she lost
mhm.
that immunity, we all thought she was going to be gone. And then because of Veronica more than anything, and also because of like Dom wanting to kill Megan, and then Alex and Dom, like because of other power players kind of having fights at the top, and then plus she was friends with Megan or Veronica, sorry, that's kind of what I think helped pull Raven so far. Whereas with Dominique, it's like Dominique was sitting at number one, number two of the power rankings from the very beginning and never left until
Mhm.
she essentially like killed her own game in a lot of ways this week.
Yeah.
And so she was able to do villainous shit, but it actually mattered. Like what she was doing was like she had an agenda, and she was going to enact that agenda and put her foot down and have power and tell everybody, I have the power and you better be fucking doing what I say or you're next. Like that was really her style of gameplay. She did it with a lot more social finesse than how I just
Yeah.
put it.
Yeah.
But that was really her gameplay. So for me, it's like I saw Dom as the villain more because like she just had so much power, and really she was her own downfall because she was so drunk at times on her own power that
It's like a
she just
mob
had
boss
no
game for
she
sure.
yeah she had no ability to manage her own threat level because of, again, kind of because of her own ego, and also just because I think truly believed that her like she truly believed that she was all that shit, and that the people next to her would not care about that and would just keep stay loyal to her if she stayed loyal to them. Instincts or were willing to do exactly what she did to Megan to her, but she just
Yeah.
didn't clock that until it was way too late. So
Yeah, and let's also say this here. It's so camp and iconic, and I'm so happy we
oh
got to witness
yeah,
it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean,
Just
Dom
yeah,
has been
it's
like
like
freaking out about making the DVD cover. It's like, baby girl, you were making the DVD cover from like week two. I'm so
Top
sorry.
six does not matter.
I'm
You were
so sorry.
making it. It's
I'm
fine.
so
Like,
girly pop. Like you were never gonna be on that DVD
We are
cover.
at the
Trust and
point now where
believe.
I am putting 7 people on because the next person in line to go would be Dominique, and I'm not taking him
And
off the
she
DVD
has to be
yeah.
on it. Like it's
it has to be on
absolutely
the cover,
like
yeah.
she was such an important part of the season, and I mean she was amazing. Like everything about it was fucking awesome. But villain of the season, I oftentimes love the villains. I mean the only one
Yeah.
I can remember really truly hating, and I never want to see her again is fucking Yvette. But she's been long gone, so like we're all good there. Like she's not coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all
I
that
do
said.
think the last thing that I want to touch on pretty quickly is this vote nullifier again, because it causes a lot of things that will also have more ramifications in later weeks.
Mhm.
So Dominique has this vote nullifier, and Alex goes up, Vince veto, takes himself off, and Dominique puts up Kevin, which again pisses off Cameron and Kevin because it's like, hello. alliance. But so Jillian volunteers from what I have in our notes. Jillian volunteers
Oh,
to have it taken
yes, I
away.
remember this. Yeah.
And then the big issue here now is Dominique goes to Veronica and says, "Hey, I'm going to take her vote away so you can preserve Megan's jury vote." And Megan also clocks this that Veronica and Dominique are working together to like
No,
keep
she
her
does.
out.
What happens is, no, Dom goes to Veronica and said, "Hey, I will do this." She is like, she says it like I'm doing it like a favor, which is a little bit presumptuous. But Veronica's totally on board. Veronica's like, "Hell, fucking yeah, I don't, I gaff. I would love to preserve my jury vote with Megan."
Yeah.
Jason finds out about this because obviously Dom tells Jason everything. Jason is then like, "I don't like how good this is like setting up Veronica for jury. So I'm gonna go tell Megan that this happened. I'm gonna go tell Megan that Dom and Veronica collaborated on this and that Veronica agreed to do it so that she doesn't have to vote you out so you'll be not as mad at her." Jason is the one who does that. And then
That's
later
Yeah,
later
okay.
later Veronica finds out about that the fact that Jason did it. But it was Jason who tells Megan that.
Okay, I was reading my notes and I put it out. I put it out of order that Megan finds out. Then I look. I'm like, she finds out because of Jason. I said that after, so thank you. But yeah, this is the big thing here. Dominique and Jason, they're not breaking up or anything like that. But this is where the start of they start
Yes.
planting seeds to fuck each other over, which was honestly surprising for me, especially how they both harp on about loyalty later, which is crazy. But it's definitely an interesting thing to note here. And then yes. Jason also tells I don't know if it's this week or next week, but whatever. Jason tells Cameron that Veronica
He
volunteered or
does.
something. And then
Yeah.
Cameron tells Veronica, "Hey, I heard you volunteered." And Veronica's like, "Who the fuck told you that?" And then Cameron doesn't say anything.
Well, because yeah, Cameron
Cameron
like
doesn't say
drops
anything
it.
because
He
he's
drops it
busy.
very. He also
And then
drops it
they,
very casually, like this idea that she volunteered. Like he doesn't even make a big deal of it, but she's immediately like, "There's literally only two, maybe three people that could have told Cameron that: me, Dominique, or Jason." And she's like, "I'm pretty sure Dominique didn't tell him, most likely,
yeah.
but and I know I didn't tell him, so it probably was Jason." And then she's like, "Oh, I'm if Jason told her, then like, or told Cameron, then like he's fucked. Like that's gonna piss me the fuck off." But then yeah, she's like, "Well, who told you that?" And Cameron goes like radio silent for like literally 36 hours. I feel
It's
like it was
okay.
a
Half of those hours is because Next HOH took away one-on-one access, so I won't.
yeah,
But then the rest of the time, that's on Cameron. But
yeah.
then
It
I
was
think
just
I'm
like
most pissed off because of the radio silence, it comes off as accidentally throwing Jason under the bus, which to me is simply disrespectful of your leaking sources. Because if you're going to throw them under the bus, have it be for a strategic reason, right?
Well,
And
I
if
think Cameron was doing. He said later he was trying to pit Jason and Veronica into each other.
yeah,
I
but
just
I
think
feel
he
like if
did
you're
it
going to do
messily.
that, you wouldn't do like the radio silence because that just makes you look weird and shady to Veronica
makes
as
you look like
opposed
you
to like
didn't mean to drop it, and now you're trying to scramble to figure out what you're gonna
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
say.
yeah. It just
Even
looked like
even if that's not the
accidental and
case,
like
yeah.
like stumbled into, which I didn't respect as much as if it was like a purposeful snaking. Like I respect stabbing if it has a strategic reason. And I feel like if you're going to stab just willy-nilly, it comes off as messy gameplay to me.
And it was.
I think
Yeah, I think it was messy gameplay. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say it comes up more next week when he actually tells Veronica who said it. But at that point, he starts going to like he goes to Jason like, "Oh, Jason, Veronica asked me this. She's trying to throw me under the bus. I'm gonna help you." And then Jason's going to Veronica like, "Hey, Cameron's saying that Veronica." And then Cameron's going to Veronica. I'm like, "Oh yeah, Jason did." It's like a weird triangle throwing under the bus that they're trying to do here. It's very chaotic. It was not done. I appreciate the intention, but it was done very sloppily.
The
Unfortunately for
execution was
Cameron.
poor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
I have
But
gameplay from here to the end of the season is not good. Just to be quite frank, like,
To
because
be
I
totally transparent, none of these people know where home at, to be honest with you. Oh,
know
there we go.
I don't know where home at. I just like, and I just want to get that out of the way because I don't want to bash, right? Like we're not here to bash, but there will be things that it's like, it's just bad. Like
I
it's
feel like we are
basically
saying this with love in the spirit of constructive criticism because I
yeah.
know that like I personally have really grown the most when like people have criticized my game, and I've read people basically being like, that was dumb because XYZ. And then I can like learn and grow. So like I feel as though like none of us are saying this in like a mean-spirited way because our cast
No.
is fucking amazing, honestly. Like
It
this
was
has
so
been a
much
really
fun.
fun season. And
Yeah.
I think like even though this final two isn't like, not to spoil anything, but like the final two is not what a lot of people imagined, right? But like I think it just fits this
When
season.
people
And I
imagine it,
think
they just fear it.
Spirit is
And like,
crazy.
like, and I'll say like another perspective too is like I'm someone who like I'm like retired like, and honestly like I've been a messy game player from day one. Like I make so many bad decisions. So
Yeah,
like
we love you.
it might not even be like a constructive criticism thing for some people, but it's also like it's like
I'm
well
doing it for
it's
love of the game, okay?
no, yeah, it's not the hate at all. It's like we want to engage with the season. Like we care
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much about each season of BBR, and we want to look at like why did the season happen the way it happened? Like what moves were people making? What were their intentions? What were their motives? Like we want to do that deep dive because we really care about everything y'all were doing. If any of you house guests are listening, like we really are engaged with you. We're engaged with you in the bad moments and the good moments and all the moments in between, and this is kind of our way of like being able to really explore that and give a lot of substance and commentary to a season to kind of try to reflect all the work and decisions you guys are making and also in a very long season full of a lot of obstacles, a lot of quitting, just like a lot of shit going on. So like yeah, I mean it's a way to improve your game if you're interested, but it's also just a way for us to kind of like, I mean, it's like treating it like the show. Like, I mean, we care a lot about like
This
what's
is
going
my
on
space.
and the gameplay. Like, this is like, yeah, like this is it's very fun for us. And but it never comes from a place of hate ever because
No.
like we're lucky you guys want to play. Like, we can't have a season without you guys. So it's like it's nothing like that except for like, is there anyone I've ever hated? There's probably like at least one
Yes,
person.
I was about to say there are some things that come from hate, but you'll
There's
know.
every once in a while, but
Um,
none of this at all.
I was gonna say there is some good gameplay.
Every
Specifically for
once in a
Raven.
while.
Not
Actually,
much.
it's a good transition because well, we need to talk about Megan getting voted out, but the transition of that is Veronica and Raven actually do make some really good moves here. Um,
Well,
Yes.
yeah, Megan gets voted out. We've been new.
I was gonna
She's
say,
gone.
yeah. I was gonna say the last thing of note is that we have Dominique here pledging her loyalty to an alliance I forgot existed of her, Jason, Veronica, and Cameron, and we all Jason is going all in on bot sluts, and that all gets thrown to the wind immediately by Jason's leaking shenanigans and Cameron's everything going on there, and then
That's
yeah,
also
Meg.
the funny thing is like Jason was in his DR every day. Like I have all my loyalty to the butt sluts. I want to go to the end with them. I love them. Like those are my girls. Blah blah blah. But then yeah, he's like leaking shit about Veronica and Dominique to Cameron. And Jason doesn't even really like Cameron.
Oh
Like
wait, this is actually
Sydney, some
sorry.
people do it for the love of the game,
This
okay?
is one
I
thing I
get
do
exactly.
want to remember. I want to say that before I forget that Megan leads 4-0, but part of why Jason leaks to Cameron is because Jason wanted to force a tie because he didn't like that Dominique was doing this. So he was trying to rope Cameron in to save Megan and be like, oh, not save Megan, but like force Dom to do it. So Jason doesn't get the jury
force
vote
her to
thrown on
get her
his
hands dirty,
hand
etc.
and stuff. And the issue here is that everyone still thinks Cameron and Megan are super tight. Whole time Cameron has been Team Dom for fucking ages, even when she hated his guts. So it's just yeah. So it doesn't work out. Jason's like, oh,
which is
fucking
just
Cameron doesn't
crazy by Jason, because why would you try to implode your number one ally
because he
like
thinks he was
prioritizing
trying.
your
She I feel like he thought she was trying to do it to him, but he also did not ever once oppose targeting Megan to Dominique. So
no, like
Yeah, I
so
think
I
Jason was
don't.
almost viewing it like as a weird proxy war, or I don't know. Like it was just
had Jason
their
even given
relationship
a
got a little weird
crumb of
towards the
like
end.
I don't even know if Jason did any of it. Even Dom was upset when she found out that Jason leaked it. Why the fuck
No,
is Jason leaking this
Which I
shit?
think is
like
actually
at
why I didn't
final
vote
nine,
them for
that's
duo
too
of the
much.
season.
They
They
didn't
just got
get
a
dual
little weird
season
towards the
because they
end.
fucked
yeah,
up.
see, no, literally, like, and again, I know we're trying not to linger too much because we have so much to get through, but like, that is another reason why I feel like Raven and Veronica deserve, in my opinion, to have the season because,
I love
like,
how we're just using this to campaign for our like
I'm
award.
really trying, it's coming up naturally. I swear, I had no
And
intention of campaigning.
this will not go up
This is
in
not going up by tomorrow,
No,
so it
I know,
doesn't
no,
probably.
exactly. No, and it's not even campaigning, but it's like, in my opinion, like, I have to say it, like, I know I'm biased because I come from duos that were like, we would kill each other for each other. Like, I
No,
would have
same.
died for Jeevan. I would have died for Cole. Cole would have died for me. Jeevan would have died for me. Jeevan did die for me. Not really on purpose, but he did. And when I was in six, I was also in a duo from the beginning, and I would have died for Matt. Matt would have died for me. So, like, that's just all I know. But it's like,
Juicy.
it's yes, but it's like it's so hard to like really support a duo when they're plotting against each other. Like honestly, strategically, does it make more sense? Yes, but it's like I believe a real duo, a real ride or die duo is one who will
Yes.
die for each other.
Yeah.
Like you will make bad decisions for your partner in spite of your own game and hope you can just figure it out because you care more about being in the game with your duo than being in the game by yourself. That's a real fucking duo to me. And they're harder to come by. I feel like we don't see them very often. And I feel like Regan and Veronica, I would not say fully fit that mold, but they really do. Like Veronica literally kind of unknowingly, but kind of knowingly, essentially threw away her perfect, very well going game to save
Mhm.
Raven, who was 100% going to die had the halting hex not been used, and is able to come back from that. And later, there are things that Raven might have done that would have been essentially like giving that back to Veronica, and like they don't plot on each other. Like at no point in this game was Raven and Veronica. I mean, they are making decisions around each other, and they don't always agree, but they really were in it to be there together. Like that was very important to them. Whereas with Jason and Dom, they were definitely like the power duo of the season. Like they were the ones who were just like sweeping the game and making so many important decisions and kind of leading the narrative. But like they were plotting on each other, like for realsies. Like and
There's a
Jason,
difference
as
between
much
like
as
duo and ride or die, I feel. And
yes,
I
yeah,
feel like Jason and Dominique were the power duo for sure. I think
yes,
they
for
were the power
sure.
duo. I think that Veronica and Raven were ride or dies. And
And
I
to
think
me,
that's the
like
difference.
to me, that's beautiful. And
Yeah.
I feel like that to me is what when I vote for duo of the season, like I think there's different ways to interpret that. For me, it's like who were the ride or dies? Like who were
Raven was
really in it
literally
to win it?
willing
Well,
to veto like what the fuck Veronica, sorry, my brain broke. Raven was literally willing to veto Veronica on the block, like
And pretty much risk
instead of
her going,
herself while she was also there.
yeah.
It basically was Dominique's dream because Dominique keeps wanting other people to veto them, like not veto themselves. And that
I've
That's
actually
funny.
happened in a pairing and it was not in her duo.
okay. I just
Sorry, sorry.
we can talk about Raven and Veronica plotting on each other later. I think right now, Megan goes 4-0. We're on to the next
Yes.
week. We have another certified Grand Freak Off competition with a Bella's tent thing. They have to add their logs, so on and so forth. It seems
It's
like
like our
we're
version of an endurance comp, essentially.
basically, yeah,
Modified now.
you all know how it goes. They have the room, they have to X minutes go by, they do a thing, they get points, most
Uh-huh.
points win, so on and so forth. And
Math was fucking him up this comp,
yeah, if
BTW.
Jillian notably did the math wrong and
And
was
then got mad at us.
upset that I didn't correct her. I'm like, I would have corrected you if this was like an individual competition, but like, this is a group thing where strategy
Yeah.
and socializing war. I can't help you here.
I can't. Yeah. Great. It was awesome, honestly.
And so yeah, basically it's not anything. The most notable thing is that Alex and Raven are kind of like fighting for the lead, and then Alex wakes up in the middle of the night for her time zone, locks in her lead, and goes the fuck back to bed. And then Cameron is like, all right, perfect. And he cockblocks Raven from winning the HOA, which happens a lot. Cameron has sniped Raven from winning
Yes.
so many comps this season. I think and then eventually she'll get him in a few weeks, but it's just really funny.
No,
And so
you're
yeah,
right.
yeah. So Alex secures HOH. Dominique here is upset that Alex didn't veto herself. She's gonna, and I'm like, I put this note. Dominique is mad that Alex didn't veto herself. Dominique is gonna wonder why Alex and Kevin are mad at her for nominating them 3 times in a row. And Dominique is gonna get mad when Alex and Kevin vote her off and betray her. And lo and behold, what does Alex do with her new HOH? She goes for Dominique. Why? Because Dominique has put her up 2 out of 2 times, and she's put up Kevin an extra time when they're supposed to be an alliance. And she's like, done with this shit. And yeah, and then Raven tries to call out Cameron in the house chat. Doesn't Cameron is like, whatever, doesn't give a shit. And then at this point now, Raven and Dom go and throw Alex under the bus to no, they throw Raven and Veronica throw Jason and Dom under the bus to Alex so quickly. It's insane. And this is where they build their own little trio now called the K-pop Demon Ink Hunters because, of course, and it works. But Cameron is also like still Team Dom here and wants to try to get Alex to stop shooting at the Alliance. But at this point, Alex was and will always be in the right for taking out Dom here after all the shit Dom did to her.
Oh, absolutely.
And I understand where Cameron is coming from, trying to keep them together, but at this point, he was holding on to a dead dream. He should have realized after the last time that
Onto a dead dream. Crazy.
this alliance is not going the distance. It's unfortunate when alliances blow up, but sometimes you have to just let it go and just pivot.
Yeah. Well, and I was giving the move on hand signals earlier to our listeners of the pod. I was giving like the let's segue signals because I do think talking about and Veronica is actually applicable for this cycle versus
Yeah.
like I was trying
Yeah, I
to.
think we got a little ahead of ourselves,
We
even though
got
it
a
came
little
off as Graham
ahead.
trying to silence women.
Yeah,
So
it was not Graham trying to silence women. It was Graham trying to get the women to talk about the next cycle.
Yeah,
And
and I can't see because I'm in the car, so whatever he lands, that's what you
yeah,
want me to be honest.
and I didn't see him until after I was done talking, and I'm like, oh, he's been trying to tell me to shut the fuck up the entire time.
no,
Great.
I was not telling you to shut up. I was telling us to move to the next one because this is about the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's because the Raven and Veronica of it all, like this is where they really do settle into like them being the duo, and this is them kind of taking the power for themselves this week.
Mhm.
Because like we talked about, they the week before when Megan was voted out and Dom was HOH, they like they all realized that Dom was kind of in this like extreme power position, and they're like, okay, well that we can't get too deep with Dom and Jason now because they're in this extreme like pole position to go really far and have a lot of power in the house, so let's do it ourselves. So this is when not Dom, this is when Raven and Veronica decide to just undercut the entirety of Jason and Dom's game. And because we've mentioned it on this pod before, that Jason and Dominique were doing the power player thing, but we're not even like remotely hiding it well at all and not attempting to, and they didn't have to because up until this point no one was really calling them on it or like dealing with it, and also we'd had so many just like quits and walks and pseudo walks that there wasn't even really a tremendous amount of like game to be had. But this is when Raven and Veronica kind of kick it into gear like, hey, if we get rid of Dominique or Jason, then we're the power duo left. And you and I can both win competitions, whereas Jason can't win competitions. Or if he does, he's throwing too hard. And so then we can get closer to the end and get rid of our biggest competition here. And they wouldn't have noticed that if Dom hadn't have like stuck her foot in her mouth and everywhere else last week. But this time it just kind of works out where Veronica and Raven really like turn. This was my, and the reason I wanted to mention here too, because this is my best move of the season, is is Raven and Veronica making this trio with Alex, getting in with Jillian and Alex, seeing what they needed to do to continue on in the game together, and they both make top fives as a duo, like as
That was
like
my
an
vote too.
out
Yeah, I think
like
that's
an,
really
as
good.
an out duo, like who literally used the halting hex and like you know what I mean, like so I do think it was like it was the right move for them because they got way further than they probably might have like would have, especially Raven, if they had left Dominique and Jason like intact in the game. And now there are bad plays that come later on with them focusing on Cameron instead of Jason and all that kind of stuff. But I do think that like this is the extreme turning point of the game where Veronica and Raven really do jump into their own and begin to kind of like take over because they really do. Like from here on out, it is all about Veronica and Raven. Like final eight on, it is entirely about Veronica and Raven, pretty much for the rest
I
of the
think
game.
before they did this, Dominique was the favorite to win. To
Yes.
like in my mind at least. I feel like she was doing a better job of like getting in with everyone while also having some visible moves, versus Jason was really good at getting everyone, but like he didn't have as many like visible moves within that like kind of duo. And I do feel like their duo was a little bit more like equitable power wise, as far as like, like if they weren't trying to stab each other as much as we kind of discussed, they
Hmm.
probably would be my duo of the season. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like taking out Dominique was just really smart for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, and I
It
really,
really
I
makes
know
sense.
she's obviously upset about it, because why would you not be upset about being flung from the game? But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you kind of have to respect people who like clock your threat level and realize that you're gonna beat them, and so have to get
Yeah.
rid of you.
Yeah. I mean, and Veronica and Raven really pretty much are the driving force to convince Alex to nominate Dominique and Jason. Um,
Yeah, I was
initially,
They
gonna
did a lot of good
yeah,
work
they
there.
did a
I
Yeah.
was
lot of lifting for
I
that.
was gonna say here that also to know Kevin goes for the apple because at this point they needed to, again, in the same vein of keep the apple away from the enemies so that
Yeah.
worst case, if they get a pal, it doesn't give Alex's HOH. Kevin got really unlucky that he got the HOH sit out, which I think does. I don't know if he would have won the next HOH, but it definitely did not tip things in their favor at all because that means they only had Cameron to an HOH for the next week, and that does end poorly for them both. But I appreciate the effort of trying to keep the apple away from that. It just
Yeah.
he picked the wrong one, and sometimes that's the point of temptation. You take the temptation, you might get cursed. But yes, the biggest thing that I wanted to note here was that Cameron's efforts weren't going to work, but the real thing was I think Alex viewed Kevin's word more than Cameron's, but and
100%.
Kevin was also team revenge because Dominique was throwing him to the wolves too. So between Veronica and Raven, and also her close ally Kevin,
Yeah.
three of her four close allies were saying do it. She could listen to three of them and not the fourth one. So yeah,
Yeah.
Cameron was unfortunately drawing to he needed to win the HOH this week himself if he wanted Dom to stay because Alex and Kevin were not going to do it and they had no reason to do so after what
No.
Dominique kept doing to them.
No, because Dominique had put them both up like twice now, right? Or did she
Yes.
put Kevin up
She
once?
didn't she only did Kevin once, but it was still like
Alex
unnecessary.
twice,
Yeah,
Kevin
Alex
once,
twice,
and
Kevin.
Kevin as a final replacement
She had three
nominee.
opportunities to put them up and she took them every single time, basically.
Yeah. So it's like obviously, yeah. This was anybody that says Alex was anybody that says this was not a good move for Alex is
In this string of like
lying.
bad moves in the end game, Alex is the only one that I 1000% justify what she did with her HOH.
Yeah. In this, that is a great point. In this like absolute shitstorm of an end game, this cycle, the final eight cycle, was the only one where I believe that like it was like the good move express.
Because
Yeah.
Alex's thing was
You
the
know.
only thing that was retaliatory to what happened the prior week.
Yeah.
Everyone else would get fucked over in the prior week and then not care. I'm getting angry.
Well, and it's not even like with Dom and Alex. It's not even like Dom is so good socially, but like she chose these moments to just be like, just kind of like sink herself in the mud and be like, no, this is what I'm gonna stand on, and you're wrong for being upset about this. Actually, I should be upset because you vetoed yourself last week, and you should have taken one for the team.
I feel like Dominique is so good socially, but then will randomly stand like 10 toes behind the most like wild ass situations and
Yeah.
like things,
Dom did
Like Dom,
not
like
need to win
you
HOH.
No, and it's like Dom, like yes, you can be allies with someone and put them on the block for sure. But if you continually put people on the block who you're in a trio alliance with, or what if I don't know if Jason was in an alliance, but you're in an alliance with over and over again, you're just proving to them that you value them the least of all your allies.
Yeah,
one
leftovers are
Because
time is
not.
and that's
strategic,
what that
multiple times is a
means.
pattern.
I don't think Dominique was wrong in targeting Megan. I think Dominique was wrong in winning HOH to begin with, and that was her biggest issue.
Yeah.
But at that point, she was also exposed as a Megan. I don't. She didn't even know this. That she was exposed as a Megan op at this point. So it was
Yeah.
like her. I don't believe of all
One
these
of the things that
string.
killed me the most was Megan not being aware of how much Dominique wanted to
Yeah,
murder her like any given moment.
yeah.
Like now I can say this because, identities have been revealed, but like at one point I was out to brunch with Megan's like actual player, Jasmine, and Jasmine's like going on about how much she loves like Jason and Dominique and everything. And I'm just sitting there like, uh-huh, yeah, of course, girl. They're so amazing. They definitely
Yeah.
don't want to murder you for
Yeah.
sure. It was so awkward. Like,
There's it's
Craziness.
a string of bad HOHs minus Alex, but I do think of these HOHs where I was left scratching my head. Dom taking out Megan, it was a bad move with what it caused, the domino effect that it caused. But I don't. The issue wasn't her targeting Megan. The issue was her winning AOH to begin with. She should have let
Correct.
someone else do it. She should
mhm.
have. I don't know, but like Dominique's HOH itself wasn't bad in what happened. It's the fact that she was HOH at all, and then Alex is the next good HOH, and the rest of them from this point on it just pissed me off. But
When you're that social, you can win one HOH to show you're like really core allies. You are not going on the block. I've got your back. I can win comps and everything. You win a second one, you're steamrolling. You know what I
especially when
mean?
you're
Like
in an alliance with the entire
with the
house
entire
and
house.
have no room for
For
error,
sure.
you
And
are
like I
pissing
get it.
someone
I've
else.
fucking
You are
done it. I've
betraying
done that
someone.
multiple games. Like I get it, but like you can't do that shit. Like you kind of have to play a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And
And
then
the veto
see,
is
then we get to the veto.
it's Sydney's brainchild, keeping the family. We had some alumni come back and do challenges. Then you have to like these people to understand the challenge. The alumni would do a challenge in X time, and we'd be like, "Hey, the alumni did this in X time. How much time do you think you could do it in?" And these people think they have to beat the alumni.
Okay. Yeah. So I went to Shinx actually after, I think after the first person started playing this POV, and I was like, hey, should we like let them know that like it's not a requirement to go less than the time of the Dream Teamers? And it was like, well, it's too late now. Someone's already gone. I was like, you're right. And literally, I went back and read the directions because I thought I was crazy. It never said anywhere. It said, it just, this is the time they did it in as like a guideline essentially for like how you might decide to make what time you'll use. But most of them, if not all of them, except for I think Jillian, who ends up
Yeah,
winning on
Yeah.
accident, like oh my god, this entire competition. So yeah, she's the only one who even attempts to go a higher, more time than the Dream Teamers did it. And when I tell you this competition was just who lost
at
or
least.
no one won. Yeah, no one won it.
Here-
Like,
Here's
let's
what
be totally clear here. No
Angie from
one won
season
this
13 was
I
competition.
just
will
like,
give.
I feel you so
I'll
much.
give Jillian her one set of flowers here. She did go to Jason, tell him the strategy is just bet a really high time and pray that other people lose. So Jillian did exactly what she intended. Like she won by doing nothing, but that was her plan to win by doing nothing. It
I
just
feel
worked
like that's
out.
really disrespectful to say I'm giving Jillian her one flowers because I feel like Jillian has actually like
I
once
mean,
she
for this
activated, she
competition.
kind of has done more than we expected her to do.
I
No,
mean, with
I
this
think I
competition.
think I think Jillian has done a lot in this game, not in competitions. That she has
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
won.
Yeah, I
Not
mean, her one
and
competitive flowers.
as someone who does not win competitions ever, that is not, you can win a game and not win shit. I trust
And she
Amberly.
might do
But
that. Like,
yeah, and she might do that. But like, yeah, this was a competition where
He's
everybody
right.
just lost. It was like again, like who's winning the ID gaff wars in a sense. Like they all won because none of them gaffed enough to like read the directions or
Shinx,
ask
is the
questions
DBB
or
cover
anything.
ID gaff theme? Can you spoil that?
But
yeah.
yeah, so like I think me and Shinx probably were the ones scoring, and it just became very clear immediately all these people that they lost every round. I think Alex passed one round, maybe two. I think Dominique failed every round except for one. Dominique was literally like, "Don't even score me," and I went,
Dominic DNF'd one of her rounds.
no, Dominic went, don't score me. And I was like, I do have to score you. I'm sorry. Like, I can't not score you. My bad. My bad. I'm not trying to rub
Us
it the salt in the wound
apologizing
ending.
to house guests for having to do our job. Like, I'm so sorry. I
I'm,
actually do need to pull your score
I'm
for
so sorry.
this.
I do
Please
have
forgive
to do
me.
that. I do have to do that. She did pass one round. So there was a reason to score in that sense, I guess. But yeah, like
Okay.
Dominique passes one round. I don't think
You also
Jason
need the
passes a
times
single
in case
round.
she is
Yeah,
less time
Yes,
than the
yeah,
person who
exactly.
the
did
person
shit
who
that's
Exactly.
more
bets
than her.
the fastest time is who steps up, and if it's supposed to be if they pass, they eliminate someone. If they fail their fastest
Yes.
time, they leave, and everyone who put up the fastest time failed for XYZ
Not a
reason.
single person who put up the fastest
And
time
Jillian had told
passed.
Jason, bet high and pray that other people will fail, and that is exactly what happened.
That was
Really,
exactly what she did.
this
And it
competition was
worked.
just us providing a ledge and all the house guests jumping off of it. It was
Yes.
just
Yeah.
a suicide
It
mission.
was
So Jillian had
it
her
was
little Luigi
frightening.
Angie
It was
moment
frightening.
and
But
took
you
the
know
win.
what? She did, and I kudos to fucking her because she went in with the exact right strategy and knew the landscape, and
Yeah.
it got her the win. So
Well, and that's the other thing too is that we did neglect to mention Jillian this cycle so far because she plays such a big role in this cycle. Because she is in with Alex and
Yeah,
Veronica
they also have a trio.
Raven.
Yeah, they have a
They
trio
initially,
called Fisher Sisters or some bullshit.
yeah, so Veronica and Raven initially bring Jillian into this
They're murder Dominique,
as
basically.
their like third, like it's time to kill, and they're like great, and then Jillian goes like crazy.
Because they have the 3 votes already
Yeah.
to take Alex Mississippi.
I feel like one thing worth flagging right now is also like I know we kind of discussed last episode how like when Dominique won HOH and then grabbed the apple, that Raven was basically like, I have to murder her, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jillian also had the same revelation. And I feel like that is worth highlighting because she really was like, if I want to win the game, these are the people I need to take out. And she highlighted all the social threads. Like she basically like her diary room, I was reading it going, you know what? I might have been underestimating Jilly P. Like she actually has a pretty decent read on the game and what she needs to do in order to win it. Now, whether or not she can accomplish that is a different story, but like she's
Yeah.
had some pretty good like and accurate reads, and I have to acknowledge
Yeah.
that
And here
and flag
we
it.
this is where we get to a point of contention here where now the timeline is getting fucked up. From what I've been seeing in the DRs and such, Raven and Veronica were going to kill Dominique 1000%. But in real time, like today, they're saying they would have taken out Jason. And I'm like, when did this happen? Are y'all gaslighting yourselves
They're
again?
gaslighting
They're gaslighting
themselves.
From what
They're
I'm
themselves.
gaslighting
seeing here,
themselves.
they got so mad at, and this is part of the issue. They got, yeah, Jillian will veto Jason because Jason vetoed
Veronica
her.
accidentally said that she would
Yeah,
have voted out Jason for that
Jason.
one thing as far as like with Jillian. Like,
Yeah,
oh, you already said you wouldn't do anything, but then you vetoed like the target. But like
yeah, and I'm like,
then she even
he
like in her
wasn't the
DR was like,
target.
oh, I don't know why I said that. Like
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
inaccurate.
weird. And now Jillian's running with that. Anyways, so yeah,
Yeah.
in theory,
It was
go ahead.
strange
Yeah,
that yeah, because they the three Veronica and Raven formed this trio with Jillian originally. They also make one with Alex.
yeah.
Their initial plan is to run with Jillian because they
There's
like
5 votes this week. It takes 3 to
Jillian.
kill. So in
It takes
theory,
3 to
if they're
kill.
solid, they
They
have the
have
votes to
him,
kill Dominique
and
already.
they're ready to kill. They're ready to kill Dominique. They're like, we need one of us to win veto, but we don't want to win it. So they're like, please, Jillian, win veto. Jillian wins veto. Veronica and Raven, they're cheering. They're so
Oh my
excited.
God, Jilly P,
Oh
I
my
love you. Oh my God,
god,
twerking
it's
Gabe's
gonna
ass. Oh my God, we're
discard.
gonna scissor. I love you. Ah!
Yeah,
Barbie scissors
that.
kicks.
And they were so excited. And then Jillian's like, so I'm gonna use the veto on
What if I like paid
Jason.
back the favor?
And they lose it.
Like again.
What's worse is
Veronica
that
crashes out, like, fuck Jillian, messy. I knew we couldn't trust her. Hate this bitch.
no, what's worse is that Jillian is literally in the middle of a conversation with Veronica where Veronica is trying to convince her, hey, do not use the veto because if Jason comes off the block, that messes with the votes. The only people that could realistically probably go up are like Raven or Cameron or me in this
Yeah,
scenario.
and
And
it
that
almost
and
happened.
that takes one of our votes and like we might not have the votes and then one of us might go out because Jason will vote to save Dom. And Jillian's like, and while Veronica is attempting to explain this to Jillian and explain this pitch, Jillian just leaves their one-on-one and just goes and uses the
I
veto.
support her
I appreciate
entirely.
her
I
standing
support
on
her
business
100% entirely.
because
I
Jason
support
did
Jilly
owe
P.
her. Jason did save her, so she did owe him this favor. And in her mind, I do it. It was a red flag of like, you don't trust us. It's 3 votes. We have the 3 votes, but I appreciate that she was like, I just want to make sure we vote Dom and there's no funny business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a very, very. I'm shocked that the Renan was Cameron, but for a lot of the time, it looked like Raven or Veronica was going to go up and
It was
possibly out.
And
Oh
that was
God.
when Raven and Veronica they honestly they did the Jason and Dominique thing where like the moment someone gets in power, they made a trio alliance with them and then like
I
tried to
love that. I
it was
love looking across a bar and just being like, I love
they
your vibe.
they did that with Alex and basically immediately, no hesitation, segued from their like we're going to the end with Jillian to we're going to the end with Alex, which lasts one round.
All around.
They immediately segue
So
to be like,
transparent. I'm obsessed.
"Hey, Alex, we know you want Dominique out, so we'll do it." And it was just like a whole thing.
Yeah.
And
I will say Jillian also went to Alex and said, put up Cameron. We're gonna vote. We're gonna keep Cameron even though I hate him, so on and so forth. The biggest issue here was two things. It was Cameron was only arguing for himself and he was not helping his case. And that Kevin was MIA, so he couldn't tell Alex, don't nom Cameron. Because Cameron's big pitch to Alex was, look, I have this power. I've only told Dom. I'm telling you now. And I was like, okay. So you have the power. And you told Dom, you want me to think you're going to vote her off? No. So
Yeah.
between everyone trying to jump Cameron, and not too dissimilar to the case they're jumping in PP13, it was just whatever. Someone got jumped in PP13.
no,
But
it
the
was
point is,
Casey got jumped in
yeah,
BB.
Kaser got jumped to take out Chelsea. Yeah. Everyone was jumping Alex to take out, well, not even take out, but nominate Cameron. And Cameron's like, Alex, I'm gonna go home. And Alex took a gamble of like, Cameron, if you go home, I'm fucked. If you stay, we're good. So I'm gonna just take the risk and put up Cameron because she trusts the votes because Cameron basically said, I'm Team Dom. And Cameron was gonna vote to keep Dom. And
Which is
Jason was gonna vote to keep Dom. So and hell, Kevin might have fucking kept Dom if they tried hard enough. So
like
Alex
it
made the
was
right choice
just
again. It was just
so
Alex
crazy.
made the right choice at every single turn this week,
It was
honestly.
I
Like,
mean,
crazy.
I say that, but I do think it's crazy the concept of being like, if you go home this week, my game's fucked. So sorry, but I'm putting you up anyway. Like is and like if it was any other person other than Cameron and they stayed, they would immediately be like, fuck Alex. Like
Yeah.
he was willing to like sit
Me in,
actually
in 15.
meanwhile, Cameron's like, I'm
Like,
so mad that my pet goat is like being unruly. I guess I still have to drag her to the end. Like,
yeah,
he's
she
just like
read the room
so
clearly. Like
unhinged about
Cameron,
it.
even if he wants to take out Alex and everything, he can't.
Yeah,
He
because
needs
she's the
her.
only person he wins against.
Lest he take Kevin, which he was like, he somehow tricked himself with thinking Kevin had good social capital. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But
It was
yes,
it was crazy. It was
yes.
like
So Veronica,
wild.
Raven, and Jillian are
And
jumping Alex. Cameron is not doing himself any favors. Cameron's not here. Jason is moping around. But also Alex's fucking dream a few weeks ago to nominate Jason and Dominique. It came back in full force this
Jace
week.
Momoa was like prophetic. I love
no,
that for
and
her.
also I must say, in full like Sydney spirit, since she's getting gas and cigs right now, so she's not on the call. Well, she's on the call. She's on mute. In Sydney's hater spirit,
I
the
know.
Cameron, and this comes up later, I think next cycle, where Cameron is just like, I have this huge secret. I have this big power that I was given by the specs. And it's I get to add myself to a veto draw. Like it was like out of he was so
Meanwhile, all the respect
funny.
in the world, but wasn't it given to Cameron because it was
It was
one of the
A, they
lesser
felt
powers?
bad for him, and B, it was
Yeah,
the it's honestly not even a bad power. It
it's
just
not.
it's you it I think it should be used offensively, and Cameron was using it defensively, saving it for himself when he was gonna get backdoored or something. But I
Yeah,
honestly think that power works better if you need to, like in the real show they used it to backdoor someone. Their target got
Yes.
picked, they
yeah.
pulled him out of the veto and
It's
said,
used
you're
for like
not
a good
playing,
tiny
bitch.
Kong situation. If like the bot hadn't decided to bless us with the
Yeah.
power of love, you just fling her from the
Like
competition.
it's almost rarer that you're gonna be the person left out of the veto competition
Yeah.
when it's finals. And he was the first name picked in final seven, by the way, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
So it's like
it's just
I
it
understand the thought
was
process of saving it for yourself, but this is a power that is more of a weapon than a shield. The
yeah,
hex, a fucking shield.
Yes.
The pendant, obviously a fucking shield. This one, offense. Go
and it was
crazy.
just so funny that he was like, I have this huge thing that'll change the game. And it was like trying to pitch it. And it
I
was
will say it does kind of get nerfed by Jillian's apple that happens later, so it's not
it
a
does.
total
It
knock on
gets
it, but it's
directly nerfed by one of the other twist stars.
because production Grodner was not thinking and I couldn't fix it, but
But it's just and everyone's like it's so it is literally he like exposes it next round and everyone like nobody moves.
nobody
Nobody moves.
they were like, wow,
It's like
Specs like why the fuck does Specs give you the
we
power? Oh, it was the worst one. Never mind. That's basically what
yeah,
happened.
it was crazy.
But
I did need to mention that because I that was just so
I
fun.
think the only other thing to note that happened this week was Zingbot, which shouldn't have even been a mention, but it'll
Oh my
come up next
God.
week because of course it does. So yeah, we bring Zingbot in for what might be the last time. We'll see how I feel about it in a few months, but
It's
as
gotta
of
be
right now,
again.
it's the last time. So
I feel like
probably
I
the last
support
time.
Zingbot being retired because I feel like the thing that's problematic is that like either you're reading them on something game like vaguely related game wise that other players are going to read too far into because I know I read really far into like any zings. I was like, ooh, what does that mean? Because like I'm a fucking
Yeah, I was
psychopath
reading
playing
into
the
things
game
too.
reading too far into shit. Or it's like really low hanging fruit that's just unfunny because it's like, ooh, they're inactive, ha ha ha, that's so
Yeah.
fun. Like there's
Yeah.
just like no
I
winning.
think we had some good ones in this week, but I think
I almost feel like Zingbot
it
is
did too
better
much
for like
damage.
the spec updates channel where it's like you can really
Yeah,
go in on
maybe.
like game shit,
That would
but
be fun.
like the other
Yeah,
players don't see it.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was just like we made the zing, and by we I mean Shinx made the zing about Cameron being obsessed with the bracelets.
And the I will say the only reason I even brought it up is because Josh called. Zings. I only do public stuff.
Yes.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
if Josh hadn't done that call out, I would have
You
not.
literally made my not you.
No.
Host team literally made my zing in 15 about my submissions channel. Like, hello, what are you talking about? It's
I
only about
make
public
my things on
information.
public stuff. I'm not Jack. This is a new reign. I
Sorry,
make things
sorry,
on
not to
public.
drag up old shit. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I'm like, if this thing was not said in public, or it's like a DR thing. If it's a DR thing, it has to be a not a very inconsequential DR. Like Alex not reading questions well. Okay, that's that. Who's gonna talk to her because you can't fucking read
Yeah,
questions
what does
right?
that matter? But
Yeah.
yeah,
But like,
we don't want to expose game information and zings, and we do
And
I
to
don't
everything.
even
defend Jack, the sub shit was more like me asking dumbass questions like that are self-explanatory, which was real and true. So
like I
like,
don't even the real show
Thank you
does
for
this. I
voting.
don't like it too much. Like the real for Vanessa and real show, like Vanessa, you're playing a masterful game. The crying game, I'm like that was really heavy handed.
yeah,
Like, or even lastly with Ashley, like Ashley, you're Rachel's go, and then people are like, oh well, Ashley's not a threat, and then she fucking won. So I'm like, I really try to keep it to like public facing stuff
Yeah.
that no one could possibly read game implications. And I'm like, Josh leaked this alliance forever ago,
Yeah,
and I
Josh leaked this like literally. Josh said this like in the house chat, in like the
his
week,
eviction
like
week,
in
like
pre-jury. Like this is not new information. This is
yeah,
they've made jokes about it before. Like the
yeah,
house guests themselves have made jokes about it. So I was like, hey, easy zing, haha, Cameron, you're so obsessed with getting a friendship bracelet. Here's one from us, haha,
yeah.
whatever.
And then Jason, well, I guess we can talk about this now. So before we get to it, so Dominique does get evicted
Yeah,
almost unanimously after Cameron's renom. Jason was going to do it. He's going to fuck this. I'm sticking to my girl and votes Cameron out anyway. So it came out to a vote of 3-1. Dominic goes out the door. And
and
then,
Dom is upset because she
yeah,
feels
oh, yeah, yeah.
like
We can talk about this. Yeah, it's because
we do need to talk about this
Raven
because
and Veronica, ooh, they were avoiding butt sluts so much to the point where they were joking in their 101 about avoiding butt sluts.
yeah,
Dominique could
it was
feel
like
the ice.
they did not jury manage well. Nobody did. Jillian
Yeah.
did not allegedly. Raven Veronica did not. Like
I mean,
nobody.
Also,
apparently they jury managed so much better than Jillian. It's
Also,
fucking
Dominique and
insane.
Alex were fighting so much. It was crazy. It was like I don't even remember. I was like Dominique was over here threatening jury votes. Alex was like, "That's not cool. Go on the block." Blah 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 blah. There's a whole bunch of shit. And then even it was crazy. And then Dominique also got mad at her zing about hating Megan and thought that we were like propping Megan up. I'm like, girl, I didn't say a positive thing about Megan. I just said you're obsessed with her and you're proving it to be right.
And you're proving it by being mad about your zing.
Yeah.
And she was like calling
That
Megan
was
the
real,
queen and
honestly.
Geppetto, and Alex was Pinocchio, Megan's puppet, a whole bunch of shit.
I will say that was crazy that she was like, "You're only doing this because Megan." When one, Megan is not in the game. Two, you have nominated this person
Back
twice
to back. Like
and
every
then
chance you
got
could, you have done it.
mad at them and told them they were not a team player because they used the veto to save themselves from the block. And then
Again,
you're
villain of the season. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
and then you're like, "You're just a puppet, and you're only nominating me because this person that isn't in the house anymore
Like,
is
But
all the
like,
world's
she
in the love to
got
Jamie. I've hosted them before, but like, this is fucking psychotic behavior. I'm sorry. Like, I cannot get behind it. It's crazy.
it
But
is. Also, can
yeah,
I add one more thing about the Zings? Because I was kind of
go for
AWOL for
it.
a second. All I want to say is that I'm totally pro the Zings going away because from a host perspective, I am not good at Zings. I've never even tried to make Zings.
Mhm.
And every season, I'm sorry. Why are we making lovingly, I say this, Shanks, the like straight cis autistic man come up with like funny insults about people? Like, this is
No,
not
we
your
brought in the demon
wheelhouse.
twink this season. It's okay.
Well,
Jackson helped.
I did. I went
No,
at
that's true.
Jackson.
You
I
summoned
went at
Jackson.
Jackson.
I was
Don't
like,
have a day.
I need
I
an
went at
actor to help
Jackson.
me.
Have a day.
I
Have a
said,
fucking day. Let it rip.
I was like,
Let it
me
rip.
and Gay, help me, please. I can't do this.
Like, I mean, it's like every season for some reason Shanks is in charge of it, and like again, lovingly,
Because
this
no
is
one else
not your
cares, and I
wheelhouse.
can't go around calling out the fucking F slur and shit. Like that ain't. I
Yeah,
can't do
like
that.
this isn't your wheelhouse, and yet every season, like it's like I have to summon the demon twink to come do it, that to
We
come
give the
fulfill this
reading
role.
challenge to the straight man. I'm so sorry.
I mean, it's not right. Like I was every season, I'm like, why is this burden on Shanks? This is just not for him. Like, this is not one of his talents, and like that's totally fine.
He's trying his
So
best, but
so I'm totally okay with them going away because like I can't do them, Shanks can't do them, and like at the end of the day,
You
like
know what it was? Swan used to do the fucking things, and Swan's gone.
yes, well, and
yeah.
Jack used to do them because
Jack and
and Jack
Swan used to help
and
me make up the things, and
well,
they're
and
gone.
Jack is
Your
very one
demon
of
twins
Jack's not to
abandoned
like
you.
yeah, not to like compliment Jack out of the blue, but, like Jack is a very like witty, funny person in terms of like insult. He's kind of got like that RuPaul kind of
He
thing where
does it
like
in the
put him
fucking
on
escape
stage and
room. Like
he
it
can
was
come up with
so
like a
fucking
really witty,
seamless.
funny way. Yes. Yes, like he's just very good at that very particular thing. So like when Jack was in charge, like it was like every season it's like everyone can kind of contribute, but like I trusted that like Jack, I'm like Jack's got this. Like this he's very good at this. And then again, lovingly, now Shanks is the owner. This is not Shanks' talent. Like this is not for him. So
Okay, to be fair,
I
in the
agree with
Jack
retiring
era
him. It's
zines,
time.
all I got called like a fucking like virgin who masturbates to some bullshit like that. So we're grasping at straws on what's funny and what's not funny in the old era. Okay, just to
Jinx,
look.
just because you didn't like your
Like
zings did
I mean,
not mean that Jack's zings were not funny, because Jack's zings were incredible.
They were incredible.
they were incredible.
Mine was
They
just
were
bad, and
incredible.
I
I'm
think,
sorry.
and you know what? I think
It's
Swan wrote that one.
sometimes they hit
So
a sometimes it hits a little close to home, and we can't do anything about that. But I agree. I think that
I think
Zings.
you were a
I,
virgin, so
we're
I
gonna cut the
mean,
shit out. Cut the shit out. Don't do
we
it.
can cut this
you
out.
brought it up.
Well,
You
cut it
brought
out.
it
I'm
up.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. We can cut this out.
He brought it up. He fucking
No,
brought it up. No one was
no,
even
it's
talking
this
about
is
him.
staying in the edit. This is blame
No
it
one
on
was
the
talking
edit.
about him. Like that's what's crazy. Is he brings it up and he gets mad. But okay, whatever, fine. Period. I'm just saying, I'm totally for the Zings being retired. They're over, they're old, whatever. Like they can go. Period. But
This is
also
an era
nothing
of
that was
kindness. We have enough shit from the outside world. We don't need like additional outside hate from our community.
well, and I will
Enough
say with
in
the
our
bracelet
community.
thing,
I
I'm
say while
totally
we just drag people
I was like,
like
we
I
hate
cycle
enough in
before.
our
no, I'm
community.
justifying Shanks about the bracelet thing because like that shit got exposed way long ago, and it's been joked about by the house guests and or used as fodder to bully Cameron further
And
since it's been
also, like,
exposed.
to be real, to be incredibly real, actually, I think that it was less about Zingbot and more that Jason was grasping at straws because he basically was just blindsided with his number one ally going out of the game by the hand of two people that he was like final four with, right? And I think there was an element of denial there. And I think there was an element of grasping at
And
like,
we will see that denial
yeah,
very
and like
shortly.
anything that like could possibly justify. And like we did
Well,
see that he basically, hold on, kind of, I just want to like finish this one thing. Basically, I think that like he had mentioned before that he was aware of like the women's alliance and he was aware of like this bracelet alliance. And I think he was so afraid of being made a fool of with like, you know, putting up someone who was actually against him, that he was like, you know what? I only know one fucking thing. I know that like this alliance exists and like this alliance exists. Let me just put this shit up and just like pray to God that like this goes away. And I don't know, like that's at least the
Okay.
impression I got, that it was like almost defensive more than like offensive
I think let's
on his
just
part.
so yeah, Dominique leaves almost unanimously. Raven and Veronica did not manage her well. She's rightfully pissed off about it. People feel bad. We have the specs who were just calling her villain, actively feeling bad for Dominique. 'Cause you
we
can
all felt
tell
bad. We
that
all
shit was
felt
It
bad.
crazy.
rough.
But yeah, Dom goes, Jason wins the next HOH. It was finding Rob, just a simple like look for the hidden dumbass Robert Pattinson meme in the cast photos of Twilight. Jason wins it, and then you would think, oh man, Raven and Veronica just betrayed their alliance very brutally, ghosting them in the chat while she begged for her life.
Mhm.
But that's not what Jason does at all. Jason, as Alex just mentioned, yeah, Jason goes for Cameron and Alex here, and I'm like, this is now I'm getting on my soapboxes. First of all, not only did I not agree with Jason not nominating for Raven and Veronica, of the two people to target between Alex and Cameron, he picked the wrong one. He should have been targeting if he Alex ends up leaving this week, not by design, but it's and first of all, she almost stayed anyways, which would have been crazy. But of the two, if he is gonna go that route, Alex was the move to go because by keeping Cameron in, Raven and Veronica might still tunnel vision on him. And that, as we will see, that is what happens. They tunnel vision on Cameron. But had Jason gotten his way, he would have taken out Cameron. Raven was next to H, or Alex was next to H. Jason's fucking gone. With all due respect, he's very lucky that I'm not gonna say lucky. He earned it because he did put in the work with Raven and Veronica socially, anyways. But he almost still lucked out that he managed to. His ceiling was fourth place when objectively it should have been sixth because of the misstep that he made here. They gave him every reason to target them, and he just did not do it. And part of why I got so upset, he explained later, it was never about the zings. It was just a scapegoat, and I still didn't like love that. It feels like it was broaching on production strategy, and I didn't know how to step into that without like changing his noms, so I didn't say anything. So I was like, I just like had to sit there and stew about it because even Jillian was like, "Oh yeah, Jason's on a camera because of the zing," telling it to people. So I'm just like, "Oh my god,
Well,
Kim."
I mean, let's say this first. I mean, the zings still exist on the real show.
Yeah,
And there are people who do take those into consideration when they do stuff on the real show, and that's not considered to be production strategy. I mean, actually, there was a whole conundrum with the last Big Brother season because they kept zinging Morgan about cheating with Vince, essentially. And the whole house was like, "Ooh, that's messy as fuck," and like it like actually really upset both of them. Like that zing actually like really was a problem for Morgan,
yeah.
and so it's like I don't even think personally. Obviously, we did nothing as a hosting team. I don't think it was production and strategy. I think the zings are part of the game. They're still part of the real game. People use them, people don't. It's just what they choose to do with them. But the other thing I was going to mention when Alex was talking about this, and now that Shinx is I think also what's an underrated part of this, and I think it's because Jason, like, unlike most of this house, has been actually very low key about it. Jason doesn't like Cameron. Like, but for a long time, Cameron was consistently like at the bottom or like the middle
The
bottom
Veronica
of
leaving thing
Jason's.
helped him hate, and the not tying for Megan really cemented his hate for Cameron too.
Yeah, like like for a very, very long time, Jason or Cameron was at the bottom or middle bottom of Jason's TRs. And Jason just like actively had no love for Cameron. The only reason Jason like had won like earlier in the season, like I wouldn't have been surprised if he'd nominated or targeted Cameron. But because Dom was like actively cultivating this relationship with Cameron, and obviously Jason and Dom were a duo, that gave him some incentive to kind of like not try or even attempt to do anything about it. And then when he was trying to tie the vote, when it came to Megan, he kind of was like, okay, like I now have a reason for myself to work with Cameron. And that kind of bridged some of the gap in terms of his, I think, feelings about Cameron. But then when Dom left, and I think just with everything going on, like I just think part of it is that Jason just didn't really like Cameron. Like, I just think that was part of it. Like, I think he was happy or would have preferred to have someone go up and leave that he doesn't particularly like very much versus a lot of the house who he actually has friendships with. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's just a human thing to do. Like, obviously, in hindsight and kind of in the moment, like, we recognize it wasn't the right move for his game. Although it's just like snowing now, like, cool. Like, let me just kill myself.
Bro.
Anyway, like what didn't see that on the forecast. But I do think part of it was like, and I think maybe that's why like the zings kind of just brought that back to the surface. Like I think Jason just didn't really like Cameron, and like he was kind of cool just like letting Cameron die, because it made sense over evicting people Jason actually liked, especially after he just lost his number one. Like, so I do think that was part of it, and I don't think we've really talked about it much because Jason's been very low key about it. He's not been like a Raven about Cameron or
No.
and really
Well,
anyone
that's
in the
a hard
house.
bar to clear.
Yeah, it's a low bar, but like I think, yeah, like I just think I also think Jason, to his credit, is just a pretty positive character in the house, and like he's
Yes,
not
yeah.
really hateful, he's not really having his like temper tantrums or anything. So like people he and most people he liked. So the people he didn't like and the people he wasn't really vibing with, he just kind of didn't talk about them versus the way other people in this house, like all they did was talk about the people they didn't like. So I think that's another reason it kind of got swept under the rug. But yeah, I just think
The same
Jason
thing
just
has
didn't really like
always seemed
Cameron.
to me like an excuse as opposed to an actual reason. You know what I
Uh,
mean? Like there's so
Yeah.
many times where someone just uses like a random ass excuse to like for a reason for something they're gonna do anyway or whatever. And like it was just such an easy excuse. And Shanks, I think you were being hard on yourself for no reason.
I think it was a combination of things of like Cameron was my favorite person in the cast at the time, so it was also just like and from what I was reading, they were directly like no one had said, "Oh, this is just an excuse," but like they were directly blaming on the Zing, telling people, "Oh yeah, the Zing brought up a good point. Bracelet Alliance, da da da." I'm like, the Bracelet Alliance is dead. Everyone knows this. Like I thought this was gonna be funny, and I was like beating myself. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
fucking god, I'm getting this fucking guy evicted because of a stupid joke that wasn't even that fucking funny. And I was just like, oh my, and I was just like annoyed about it and everything.
Let me trust this. Cameron Hurd's eviction had nothing to do with you, and everything to do with the actions he partook in throughout the season.
I just felt like I was like, Jason is making like I'm like any odds of Jason doing the right move is being thrown out now because of this Zing, and I'm like, I can't say
No,
that's
trust
what
and
I felt
believe.
like in my
Jason was
brain.
No,
never gonna make the right move, baby girl.
Jason is
Jason was never gonna
never
make the
gonna
right
make the
move.
I
right
was
move.
just like, he's
Zing,
throwing
zing
his
or
game
not,
away because of a
zing
fucking
or
Zing,
not.
taking himself
No,
out, Cameron. But yeah, I
no.
said
And
my
also,
thoughts on
it's like,
Jason.
and
Go
even
ahead.
if even if the zing was the only reason or the sole reason or even a reason, which I don't believe it was any of those, but even if that was the case, like nothing was said that wasn't already public, and the
Mhm.
zings are what they are. Like we're not doing anything that the real show doesn't do, and the real show, in my as far as I'm aware, has never like been told someone that they can't use this or do this to do this. So it's like
Yeah,
it's
I was
not.
never gonna
It's just
stop him. I was just like, I don't know where the line blurs between like
also,
gameplay and
to be
production strategy.
totally frank with you, if you're in a position where a zing is enough to get someone you kind of consider an ally to nominate you, then like your game's probably not doing that well from the
Mhm.
beginning.
That's
Mhm.
fair. Yeah.
So I mean, like if let's say it was the only reason that turned Jason's head into nominating Cameron, which it wasn't for sure, but even if it was, the fact that their whatever you might call it, their friendship, their allyship was so
A
tenuous
thin
that
veneer.
a zing would disintegrate, it just tells you that like
Yeah.
it was never there was nothing there in the beginning, which I think is also just part of the fact that Jason just didn't really like Cameron. So
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if they actually had liked each other, they probably would have bonded over it and like laughed over how inaccurate it
yeah.
was. Like they would have just like put down the straight man
Or
because
just,
half the
or just
cast like
something like, remember when
completely
you were so obsessed with
like
the friendship bracelets? Like, ha ha ha, you've come so far. Like, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
there's so many
Yeah.
ways in which that could have gone differently socially.
Yeah. I think it was just a weird combination of
So
events and
it is what it
everything.
is.
And then the fact that like I'm like I could not find an explicable reason for why Jason was not going to make the obvious play of Raven and Veronica here. And I was just like, what the hell is happening? It was like I
Well, that
still
was
can't believe he didn't do that.
trust and believe that was all Jason.
No,
Trust and
as I
believe.
said, I think it was literally like an element of
Mr.
denial. Like I think he
Whistlenut.
was just like, I don't know what to do. and therefore like he was
But they
afraid.
blatantly hoed him, like in his face. They played in his face. Radio silence in the alliance. I mean, that should have been a death sentence.
Well, let's also remember that Jason and Dom were blatantly hoeing everybody else out, and did not even imagine the
This is a really funny way
possibility
to describe this.
of putting clues together. So, are
Also,
you
well,
shocked that he was also not considering other people's repercussions? Like, I will say for a very well, I was about to say very social cast. For some good social players like Dom and Jason and Veronica and like whatever, like for the good social people that we do have on this season, they're good at being social and they're absolutely shit at reading
These niggas
social
don't know what the fuck they're doing.
cues.
The strategy
Oh,
left with Megan, which
no,
is crazy to say.
we have the social, we don't have the
The
strategy.
The
strategic.
strategy left with Megan and
The
Alex.
social
Social.
strategy is wild
It's
in this
just
game.
social. It's not social strategic. And
Yeah.
They have all these bonds and they don't know what to do with it, basically.
Yeah.
but like, what's honestly, actually, I think part of what was frustrating about Jason making this move was like, I remember for several weeks in a row, Jason would have like super clear and correct reads on what people were doing in the house and like how he should be responding or what he should be thinking about in the future. Like, for instance, when he was like, I don't like that Veronica's just going to get like this free jury management, I'm going to mess that up. That was like a really good thing for him to do and a really good read. And
Yeah.
he was doing so well at like being like, okay, here are these people that I need to watch out for, and this alliance and this thing. Like he had it, he really did have it. And it's just like after, and I maybe it was more, maybe it was because of Dom's influence and what she was giving him, and because she left, he didn't have that anymore, or maybe
Yeah.
just her leaving just like messed up him so much that he just kind
Yeah.
of lost that ability to think strategically, or like to be like kind of calm and like think it over his options. I don't know, but it's like he just completely collapsed after she
Yeah.
I
left
feel like
and never got it back.
I feel like maybe I'm projecting a little bit on Jason, but like I feel like he's one of those players who needs to like talk things through with someone else that he really trusts
He had
type
no one to
things.
talk
And I
to.
think without Dominique there to like bounce stuff off of, he was a little bit adrift, which is why I say that he kind of clung to like
Mm-hmm.
whatever he knew
Yeah,
as a like to try to like not be made a fool of because like he was so adrift or
and
whatever.
even Dom was in jury. Like, Jason, what the fuck are you doing? Like, he
That
needs
was
to be in
funny.
there. Like, what's going on? What does Christmas have to do with this? What do you
He
mean the
just
power
needed like a
friendship?
second to like take a breath and breathe and like gather himself. And I think he
He
just
did
kind of
not
like
get that
he did
at
not do
all.
that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and he also when he didn't get that, I mean, like because they were putting pressure on him immediately into it. So
Yeah.
that's another way. There was just like I mean, even when he realized that Dom was going home, and it was all a setup basically at the end of last cycle. He was like, I can't believe they've done this. They've done this, like in his like trust rankings. You know what I mean? He's like
I'm
the
sitting
only.
here thinking, oh, Jason's gonna go on a revenge tour. Ray Veronica's
Yeah,
broken
I
up,
was
and
so
then
excited for the Jason Revenge tour because he
Cameron and
called
Alex is there.
it,
I'm like, what the fuck?
doesn't do anything with it. Yeah, it was rough to see. And I
It
do
was
think
just a bad move. And like people
yeah,
make bad moves for lots of totally
yep,
understandable reasons.
yep,
Sometimes not for understandable reasons or reasons we can't
Yeah.
understand. But I think we all understand, at least we think we understand kind of how he ended up there. But like it was just the wrong move,
Yeah.
yeah.
unfortunately. Which
And
is
it
sad
happens.
because
And
as a secondary whistle nutter, I wanted better for him. I did. I really did.
so,
As a jester, I voted AFP.
Whistle nutter,
Whistle nutter.
whistle nutter.
I do want to move on to
He
the
said
veto
jester.
and such.
Whistle nutter.
He only said Jester because you did it in front of him, by the way. So
And he saw the word whistle nutter come from the fucking bot, and yet which one did he choose to call out?
Because he doesn't understand the context. I'm not accepting this argument. He needs the full context, and then
I
we can
really
decide where
hate
he
that I know in
stands.
the heart of hearts that he would approve of whistle nutter, and he'd
Of course he
probably
would.
prefer to
Of
be
course he
Also,
would.
I do want to. So veto,
What was that?
veto.
Oh
Screaming
yeah, I'm
Vito trying
sorry.
to
Should
put
we
us
like
on
actually
track.
get back to the concept of the game?
So we do inventory check. My like abridged semi hard one version. It was really funny that this competition actively came down to seconds. Like it was
Hmm.
it was insane. And this is one where, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but these competitions now, we took away penalties and just made it be like time based for whatever reason. And it worked out because Alex got a fuck ton of penalties, but Raven finished in 541, Alex finished in 540, and Kevin finished in 539. Like, you can't write this shit. And Cameron takes the veto, takes himself off the block, and this is where I'm like, Jason could really kind of. This is where I'm like, Jason could fix this, but also like at this point now, he just needs to make sure Alex leaves because
Yeah.
this was his best. If not Reed and Veronica, Alex even was his best case the entire time, and he was not going to get that at first.
Yeah. He couldn't renege on it because then he pisses off both parties
Yeah.
instead of just pissing off one
And
party.
even then, he nominates Kevin. And this is another thing. Kevin gets mad at Cameron for not voting to keep him, but Kevin was also not going to keep Cameron against Alex either. It was just like, what the fuck are we doing? So yeah, and also Cameron, for whatever reason, does fully ghost Kevin instead of like keeping it straight or like we both like Alex. I'm gonna give her some veto or something like that. I don't know. And but really, it was all eyes on Raven and Bronny again. They had here's where Jason's move didn't go off as bad as it should have or could have. Jason, Raven and Veronica had every reason to save Alex, ride their trio out, and fuck Jason over twice in a row when he can't
Hmm.
play the next HOH.
Hmm.
And Veronica wanted to do that. But
She did.
Raven was like, two things. A, I might maybe want to win, and I need Kevin here to do that. And Alex is comp threat, and Veronica and I could win out if we get rid of Alex. Poor Lord, that does not happen. But it's
It
like,
almost does,
yeah, it almost
but
does.
it doesn't happen.
It's I don't blame either. I don't think getting rid of Alex is bad. It was also Alex Al topped the trust rankings this week,
Oh my
which is
God.
insane. Never mind that she went home. She topped the trust rankings, which was crazy.
And then went home.
And because trust doesn't matter anymore. But it was insane.
Doesn't like mid jury to the end of jury, like to end game jury.
I
And
mean,
this
yeah, I went back to
trust
look.
does not
I
matter.
never
It's like
even
who can you actually win?
until final like five, I didn't take Alec or Isabel, I guess, off of my number one. And so because I'm like, I trust her the most, even though I know I'm gonna kill her. And I was like, I looked at my DR. I literally said my entire top three of you, Clem, and Tiny, I need dead at some point. So it doesn't like, trust matters, but it's like I can trust you and still need to evict you to advance in the game. So
Yeah, like Angie
yeah.
was always my number one in 13, but I knew I was gonna get rid of her. You know what I mean? Like,
I even looked. I'm like, I kept Isabel in one after she fucking pawned me.
And
I'm like,
that's why she chose me over you, and that's also why you won. So
correct.
and it was like a thing of like I know she pawned me and it made me mad and I'm just gonna retaliate in the game, but I still trust her because it was. I even said in my DR, it's like this is a correct choice, but like don't make it. And even Sydney was saying earlier, like sometimes you make bad moves for your partner. Like Cameron, I think Cameron even clocked. Yeah, Cameron did clock that Alex should not renom him, or that Alex should renom him because he would keep Dom, but he didn't want Alex to do that. It's like sometimes you can be aware that your ally needs to do something bad to you, and you just like, hey, you might have to, like, please don't. And we even see it here with this vote where Veronica is like, I could try to keep Alex and fuck over Raven, but Raven really wants to get rid of Alex here, so I'm gonna do her this solid. And then Raven's like, oh, I got Veronica to do what I wanted, but Veronica's still like, it doesn't matter if Raven gets this because Raven is quite literally only here because of me. So me
Yeah.
letting her have this crumb doesn't do anything. And then also to the point that people were making earlier of Raven and Veronica being ride or die. I don't know if y'all remember because it got brushed off. They were both in their DRs talking about cutting each other at like 3 or 4 to sit with Kevin or baby Jillian at the end. So it's like I still voted them for duel of the season. I still think they are the duel of the season, but I'm like they were not as ride or die as much. They were Veronica could have beaten Raven, but Veronica would have cut Raven to guarantee her win. And
Yeah.
Raven, it was just of does she want to throw to Veronica or does she want to win? I Raven, despite everything, if Raven is in final three, I do not think for a second Raven lets Veronica go to final.
Okay, it's diabolical you brought this up while I was smoking a cigarette, but I have to say something in response because
I
first
didn't
of
know you were
all,
fucking smoking a cigarette, bro.
yeah. So first and foremost, you're correct that they did say that, and I think only on a season like this do I still think that it makes them essentially ride or die as close as you can be. Because Raven's logic was like, I've gone through 50 plus days of this fucking season, and it would be extremely disheartening to go to final two and know I have 0% chance of winning when I've made it all the way. If I make it to that point, like that would just make this whole season feel like, what did I do any of this for? And I
Yeah.
think that's valid. Like, I think it was literally like, I just need this season to mean something if I make it that far. Like, kind of, I think almost like Jillian's mindset as she was entering Final Four. Like, I need this season to mean something. I can't just go in to a Final Two with literally 0% chance of winning because that's just like depressing. It really had
Mhm.
nothing to do with like, I mean, that, and like, yes, that does that kind of uh fuck up the ride or die a little bit. Absolutely. And I did say earlier, I don't think they exactly fit the mold I was
I
talking
mean, it
about, but they're as
doesn't.
close to as they can be. But
Yeah.
like, I still think that like that's a very understandable reason. Like when Cole and I were trying to like take each other to the final two, I think we both understood that we had a decent chance. We both thought we could win it. Like neither of
Yeah.
us were like, there's 0% chance if I bring Sydney or 0% chance if I bring Cole that I win. Like it's a
Yeah.
different, I understand that mentality. And then with Veronica, I mean, Veronica just wanted to win the fucking season. And like, I mean, I get it.
I
Like, so,
it
but I
wasn't
agree with
wrong.
you. I agree with your
Yeah.
point though. I understand what you're saying.
I
I just
don't
had to
think it,
add that
yeah.
context.
I don't think it was wrong for them to do this, and it's not like they ever tried. I fully think they would have sat each other down like, look, I need to do this, and they would have been like, I know, girl, I love you, you're my good Judy. Oh my god, we got this, and they would have fucking like made out or
Eight
some bullshit.
gifts, 20 gifts of
Literally.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Ass
that's why I'm
clapping.
not like
Yeah.
doing this to knock. Like I said, I voted for them duel the season. I still think I just want to note that like even still they're this close and they were even still thinking of like I might need to take this out. And like yeah, I don't blame Raven. Veronica had the luxury. She's in a position where she could take anyone and win. And Raven is like I love Veronica so much. And this is part of where I was in 15, where I was like, if I lose, I want to lose to Alex, but I can't bring Alex with me. So if I put us both in final three, that means one of us wins. She
Yeah.
was smoked me in final two, but like at least I got there. Like at least like it was. It's like you bring them as close. That's why I say for ride or die for me is final three, because at some point there's a lot of times in the duo there is a person who will always win and thus one who cannot win, and
Mhm.
that person is gonna need to be like, do I want to win? And it's like you
And
bring
I
your
never
dude.
held that against you that you cut
Yeah.
me there. Like I always knew if we were getting to 3, you were cutting me at 3. Like that was why I never
Like
made you like my ride or
if
die.
I
You
thought
were just
even
my
a
duo.
smidge of like this will be a close match and like I could come out on top, I would have taken you. But I'm like, I know for a fact that if I bring her, first of all, if I bring you, they're gonna slaughter me to fucking hell and back. And if you bring me, I can put up a fight. It's not gonna do much. So I'm like, I would bring you as close as I can without fucking myself over. And like, if I lose to you, I lose fair and square, or there be the vote or the comp. And so for Jason, Raven, and Veronica, I understand the same logic of
Yeah.
Raven, I love Veronica. I want to bring her as close as I can, but she will beat me. And I want to put her in a position where she could beat me, but I'm not going to like let her beat me in the same breath. So, yes, Raven and
Yeah.
Veronica
No,
come
it
to an
makes
agreement.
sense.
They send Alex home to better Raven's odds of winning and their odds of winning out. Jason's HOH gets saved, even though he did not want it to happen the way it did at any given turn. Bro fell ass backwards into a decent HOH.
Mhm.
And I
And
support that for him.
and this other thing I wanted to mention that this is the week Kevin couldn't play this HOH, and I do think this is where the Apple. Oh yeah, also Jillian takes the Apple and gets a bonus veto competition, which is the easy part. She doesn't win it because, and that's I guess the only other thing that extended the week longer than it should have was Jillian and Jason were like playing fucking coy with the veto. Like Jason wanted Jillian to just DNF, and Jillian wanted to try to like get another comp win. And Jason was like freaking out, like, "Oh my god, Jillian's gonna fuck me over. Oh my god, if she used the veto on fucking Kevin or Alex, I'm putting up Veronica." Whole time Jillian just wants a comp win, and
She doesn't even want to use it. She
and,
just wants to get
And
started.
Julian's getting freaked out, like, why is Jason trying to make me DNF? Oh god, he's gonna try to back Raven Veronica. Oh no, oh no. And I'm like, it's just so funny. I'm like, y'all just
Bit of
talk
a
to each
mess.
other. Produce.
This cast is not very good at that.
This is a
Yeah.
season of like the just like duos that do not trust each other for shit. It is just like truly like a wild,
Yeah.
and this
wild
cast,
dynamic.
like they like definitely some of them like each other, but they low-key kind of hate each other too. Like, goddamn,
Yeah.
jury chat has been a fucking nightmare. It's like Vietnam in
It's been
there.
scary
It's
in jury
nasty.
chat. The round table
It's
was bad,
nasty.
bro.
Nice.
Fucking nasty up in there. And it only got worse recently for reasons we all are aware of. So it's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, part of it is
Multiple
these
times I've
people
seen like, should we step in? Like,
literally last night I was like, guys, should I like say something? Like, I've never once as a host ever felt compelled to step into a jury chat and calm things down. But I genuinely was like, is
When
that like
Sydney is saying you've gone too
yes?
far,
No,
But I
genuinely.
think
I
if I
even
think
I was
like,
texting Aiden last night, like I was like giving him DM support. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to bed. Just like don't murder Cam." And he's like, "Fuck that bitch. I hate him so much." I'm like, "All right, okay. I don't go. You do what you want. I
oh
don't
my
give a shit."
So do what you want.
I can't argue. I'm like, I'm not arguing with you right now. You just
like
got
what the hell we
traumatized.
Jigs is
gonna
like,
do?
you
What the
can
hell are we
murder
gonna
my
do?
emotional support. Like, it's fine. It's fine.
So,
It's
yeah.
interesting. I never mind. I'm not gonna talk
Go
about
no.
that. I'll
Go
talk
ahead. Go
about that
ahead.
Mhm,
later.
mhm.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
Jillian
Yeah.
and Jason have a little tiff, but it doesn't matter. Alex goes home. I did want to mention this now before I forget. Shout out to Dominique and Megan. Happy belated birthday to both Jamie and Jasmine.
Yeah.
They can't have their birthdays because they're still undercover, so I'm gonna give them their
Ooh,
love
happy
now.
birthday!
Hmm.
Woo!
So yeah,
Happy
we
birthday. So glad you decided to spend it in this crazy house.
literally in the
As
jury house at
Jasmine
that,
calls
right?
it, the saw trap. Like she kept calling it the saw trap. She's like, "What kind of saw trap did
Invite
you
me
trap me in? What is
into.
this?" Like she was so upset.
But yeah, so this right, Alex goes home, and I think even though he's still in the game at this point, Cameron has also effectively gone home because he cannot win the game against anybody left except Kevin, and even Kevin fucking hates him now. So it's like all Cameron has to do is win out, drag Cameron to the end against his will, drag Kevin to the end, and hope that the jury isn't bitter. And we can get into it now. Honestly, part of why I want to cram all four of these into this is that this final cycle literally happened in a day. I
Yeah.
don't think there's much to discuss, honest to God.
It was
It,
essentially a double
it was a
eviction. Like
fast forward, but
Yeah.
they made that shit a fucking double.
It was
Honestly, respect.
crazy.
So Raven wins the next HOH here, and we're like, oh God, Jason, uh-oh. Because even Raven was saying, I want Jason out in 6. But then she's like, but I hate Cameron so much. And I forget even what the fucking competition was. I think it was the season trivia. Sydney made a little like trivia quiz, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And Raven was
yes,
the only one with good notes and hoed the fuck out of everyone else with a perfect score. It didn't even matter. So
Yeah, it
what I
was
mean,
kind of
no
crazy.
one else got a perfect score.
I was not expecting that from Raven, but like good for her.
Raven
She
would post her
she did
voting
have
chart in her DR like every other week, and I'm like, damn, Raven's got
yeah,
this
she was
shit
really
down.
going for it.
Yeah,
I
Raven
feel like
takes
some of these like ID gaff players are really good at notes. It just sort of
yeah,
depends on like how they've played before.
Oh,
You
I
know what I
would
mean?
never describe Raven as an ID gaff player. I would
Mm.
describe Raven as a gaff too much player.
Well,
Um,
that's fair, actually. That's a fair.
well,
That's a fair
it's
correction.
part of that narrative with Raven, where like Raven blocked a long time ago that she had like no win equity and she was
Yeah, I can
essentially
see
only
that.
there because
Yeah.
of Veronica. And I
mhm,
think again it was that idea of like I have to make this season worth something because of
yeah,
how much of a struggle it's been. And she was
Mhm.
like, well, at least I can take something that is in her control is taking notes and being able to like have that under her belt. So she was doing that from the beginning because I think she recognized like I'm gonna have to win competitions because I don't have a lot of allies and I don't have a lot of people that are gonna want to vote for me if I somehow make it to final two. So
yeah.
I feel like Raven is a very interesting combination of ID gaff and far too gaff. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
100%. Because she doesn't she gives she cares so much.
yeah.
And we'll tell you about it. Um, so it is just it is kind of an odd combination
Yeah,
of someone who's so aloof yet like so into it
I
at the same
feel like the trio of her, Veronica, and Alex was like
different spectrums of IDGAF.
was basically the Goldilocks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was basically like, I don't give a fuck at all. And it was like balance. And then like, like I give every single fucks imaginable. And like this will be my entire personality until like it's just like
Yeah,
really a wild ride.
Yeah,
literally.
100%. But yeah,
and yet, and
Raven,
no one was online ever. It's just
no.
like
Yeah, those three
so.
are the reason Alex's time zone and Raven and Veronica's sleep schedules are the reason this season is 65 fucking days.
Honestly, yeah.
And even when
Yeah.
Alex got good, and when she left, it was Raven and Veronica holding her like,
Yeah, it
Well, and
was
also just like
wild.
Kevin randomly waiting to the last minute to vote, even though he always knew what he was gonna do. The halting hex,
I mean,
taking
and
like
you know
taking a
what
whole week
though?
away.
They didn't
Like
hold up this
just
fucking week because they, like I said, ended
nope.
the shit mad quick.
This is
So
the fastest they've ever moved.
literally,
They
Alex left
drug
on
Cameron's
52.
ass.
Cameron left on day 53. So they
Like
saved us a few days of the season.
they drug Cameron's ass to the mud.
They've made up for
This
lost time
cycle.
quickly.
It was
You were
crazy.
So
ready.
yeah, Alex nominates Cameron and then randomizes on Jillian, but the randomizer gave her Jason like 4 times, and she was like, no. And Jillian even clocked that. She was like, there's no way you fucking randomize that shit. So now Raven and Jillian hate each other, which is gonna spill into next week, and then the jury vote and such. But yeah, and then we get to the
Again,
face.
they just don't like each other.
They
This
just no one
cast,
likes
like,
anybody.
Literally. We get to the face morph veto. Cameron, I think, gets last place. Yeah, Cameron gets last place. He goes. Cameron takes slow and steady to the fucking moon and takes an hour
yes,
or something,
yeah.
or 20, however fucking long it took. It took Cameron a while. And it was Raven and Veronica. This came down to milliseconds after penalties and such. And Raven beat Veronica with a time of 9 minutes, 9 seconds, 16 milliseconds to Veronica's 9 minutes, 9 seconds, 62 milliseconds. So Raven sweeps the week. And before Cameron can even, first of all, when Cameron got last place, they cheered like, "Oh yeah, he's dead, he's dead!" Whoa! Like fucking the end of fucking Wizard of
In
Oz.
house chat. In house
Like
chat.
Cameron
By the
gone,
way,
ding dong, witch is dead,
in
everything
house chat in front of
in front of
Cameron.
his
Which
fucking
is
face.
so disrespectful. It is insane.
And also, I do want
Cameron
to.
Heard, more like
Diabolical.
Wicked Witch.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
another thing that gets me. Raven gets mad at Jillian for instantly voting her out. They all collectively did this to Cameron 24 hours prior.
Again, this cast loves to get mad at people for doing the exact same thing they did to someone else.
Yeah.
Like
But
dead
yeah,
Yeah.
ass.
Raven sweeps the week.
Consequences of my own actions.
She says that
Crazy.
later. She's like, "Oh man, I wish I backboard Jason here," but I'm like, she didn't give herself the time to backboard Jason.
No, because she could have.
She had 12 hours.
Had the
Absolutely.
ability to.
She had 12 hours to do nominations.
Thank
She
you,
did them.
Raven.
She did them in 12 minutes. She had 12 hours to make a re-nomination. She literally did it in 12 seconds. We're not joking.
Yeah, it
Snowflake.
was
12 seconds. Yeah, we were like, it's going to take her like 10 minutes, and it was like 12 seconds.
12 seconds.
I was like, Jesus Christ, all right. And they voted out Cameron so unceremoniously, so quickly. He tried. He didn't take it without a fight. He tried. He was like, yo, they're
He
being
fought back a
smug.
little.
You want to flip? And then they was like, no, sorry. Because
No,
Jason
he
is like,
did. He did kind of was like,
He gagged Raven a little bit, actually. I can't remember what he said.
he
I
gagged her.
know.
I don't remember what he said, but he gagged her.
I don't want to haterade again. We talked about we don't want to kick people while they're down, but but watching Cameron be like, I'm gonna go into my, I'm gonna give it to him. This is gonna be my Dark Knight mode. You know what? It was just like, and then it
It
was
was like
He
so
doesn't have
mild.
it in him. Like,
it
It's
was
not,
so
yeah.
crazy.
I
He was
mean,
like,
the
I'm gonna crash out and I'm gonna like really make they want crazy, they're gonna get crazy. And it was like the punch and it was like a squeak like a like the squeaky toy noise when he like
yeah.
punched. Like it was I was like, oh no. It felt so bad.
The
It
only gag he had was I think he was like, do y'all really want to deal with Raven? Like, just at all? Like, at least if I'm here, she'll come after me. It was something like that. Like,
that was
just
Yeah.
pointing out how unbearable Raven is.
Yeah.
Lovingly, I say that. And it like I was like, yeah, honestly, he kind of got your ass. Like,
yeah, he clocked her
you
there.
are kind of annoying. Like your hatred can be annoying sometimes.
And
But
the last thing of note here was he was like he called out that was like you guys are gonna pick off Kevin next, which like they might wish they fucking did, but they didn't.
What do you mean
And,
that
and then
in what world would anybody pick off
because
Kevin?
Cameron still thinks that they've just toppled his alliance one in a row and then everything because he thinks that they're gonna run to the end together, which I don't. I don't know how he got to that thought process. He knows the four of them are working together, but I'm also I
again,
think I don't
lovingly,
know
it's because these people have egos, and Cameron, like everyone in this game, he is not special in this case. It's not like
he
just
was like
him,
you
but
took out my
he
alliance.
he thinks the game revolves around him. He thinks that the bracelet. He thought that about the whole bracelet thing, which was fed to him by Cody, and then he thought that everything after the bracelet alliance got revealed was about dismantling that. And like, I mean, honestly,
There was a
I will
solid
give him
point
this.
time where Cameron was the forefront of the
Well, no,
game.
I'll say like Cameron has received house hate at a level that maybe no one else has. So in that sense, I
Yeah.
understand why he thought a lot revolved around him because they were just constantly hating on him and
It's
being
kind of
like,
like
I
Keanu
literally don't talk to
almost.
me.
A less successful
Yeah,
Keanu.
there's a little bit of that. But like at the end of the day, again, it comes down to the fact that though more understandable than some of the other people, Cameron ultimately thought the game was the people were revolving their roofs around him. And in some ways they were, but he doesn't understand that in the larger context, they were not. Like they weren't trying to snipe Cameron and his alliance because they were scared of Cameron and his alliance and wanted to eliminate threats. They were sniping Cameron because they didn't like Cameron. And they just
Yeah.
wanted him out of the game and did not want to have to deal with them anymore. That was what it
I will
was.
And
say,
I
to his
think he
credit, Jason the week before literally made the entire thing about Cameron being like the Bracelet Alliance, so
yeah.
I could see where he would like
And he's
think
like, oh, they're taking
Oh
out the
yeah,
last
no.
bracelet
Yeah.
that.
person.
But like
Again, yeah, Cameron
with
had
the
reasons
ego,
to believe
yeah.
that for
And
sure.
then
But
it
yeah.
was that he had said something about wanting to keep Dom or whatever, and then Jason was like, "Oh, so you were gonna vote me out, haha!" But like Jason, you were also you didn't know this for a fact, and you were still gonna target him last week anyways, to your detriment, and you're still gonna vote him out right now with or without this information. So what the hell are you getting mad about? Like this did not
Uh-huh.
change anything for you. What are you getting mad
They
over?
love to do that.
Ego, ego,
They
ego. I'm
love to
telling
do
you.
that.
But
I'm
yeah,
telling you. It's just like it's just everybody.
Cameron gets sniped here, and then we've in this literally double eviction we have lost Anisra and Wayan. So thank you both for playing as well.
Mhm. Thank you
Rounds
all
out
for
our
playing so
jury to
much.
what, 6 people in the jury
Yes.
now, 3 more to go. We talk,
Hmm.
and in our next session, I don't know when it will be, but we will talk about Final Five, Final Four, Final Three, and the rest of the season because we can't do it now because we don't know who wins yet. So that's
That's
where we're
true.
at in real time. You've got jury votes coming in. 2 of them are in right now. 7 more to go.
There's two in. I don't thought there
Yeah.
was only one in.
Jason
I
just
feel like
voted
it
like
one
10
came
minutes
in
ago.
later.
Jason just
Oh,
voted like 10 minutes ago. Dom voted like
oh, those
yeah.
are the two people we know whose votes.
Yeah, their votes were locked in.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
At least Dominique re-locked her vote because
Yeah.
when she was trying to lock her vote
Yeah,
Yeah.
before,
Dominique hates these
I was
people so
like,
much. He
"Oh,
tried to vote. I
angel
was like,
face,
girl,
we are not locking before."
look, I'm not gonna lie. I have done it. I played in the last Survivor I made jury on. I hated someone so much that when they after someone won Family 2H, I'm like, I voted for her. I don't care. There's no world I do not vote for this person after she won the final immunity challenge. Lock it in right now. I don't care who the fuck she's next to. I'm voting for her. I'm not
I
asking any
think out of
questions.
respect for the hosts, only
Just
pay
wait till we
after
tell
voting
you you can put a
opens
vote
so that we
in.
can actually respect it. Because like if you try to ping before, I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to remember
Oh, I
that. I'm
did it
not
again, but I was like,
tracking it.
just
Like
know that if I disappear for some reason, this is my vote. I'm not like, don't worry about this shit. I'm locked in.
Reminds me.
throw that in your confessional and don't ping host with it in your submissions channel. Like don't try to make it some like official thing. I'm sorry. That's like
So it
that's
reminds
my
me
vote
of a
now.
season, Shinx. There was a season recently where someone tried to vote for someone that wasn't on the block, and I was like driving and I counted their vote, and
Yeah,
Shinx came in and was like, lovingly, they're not on the block,
I
and you
think that
can't
was
vote for
last
them.
season or something.
I was like,
I
oh
can't
shit,
even
my
agree
bad.
too much because I think I accidentally almost counted someone's vote who tried to do that as well. So
Yeah, they
Look,
were like,
I don't know if I mentioned this before. I've literally to the point where I hated someone so much I nominated them and then used the rest of my 24 hours to find the other nom. So like sometimes if you want to, I get being petty, but I'm also like give the host a break. Like give us
yeah,
2 seconds to breathe, please. So I'm all
please,
for being petty, and I'm like if Dom just hadn't pinged us and like this is my official vote, it won't change, and then yeah, but
I
that's
support pettiness. I
we love
don't
you, Dom.
support miscellaneous
Asking
shit
us
that
to
make us
bend
think
the
that we
rules
need
for
to
your
do something and we
pettiness.
don't.
stuff like don't score me. It's like I have to like what
I'm
like
so
Like I
sorry.
acknowledge your
what is
vote and you
I'm
say it won't
yeah
change,
like
but when
No,
I
I
open
don't
the votes
acknowledge your vote
again,
because the voting
I'm
period
gonna
hasn't
ask
opened yet.
again
So
because
it
the
does
vote is
not
not
count
open.
until the voting period
I
opens.
see it. I acknowledge that you're trying to vote, but it doesn't matter
I
because the period's
don't.
not open.
I don't. I don't acknowledge the trying to vote.
I'll
This is not the
acknowledge
voting
it.
period.
Like I
I
see
think
what
that
you're
is very
saying.
generous of you to
We have to say
acknowledge.
it again. It's like when last season we were all like pinger doesn't count. It was really crazy of us, by the way. But like, yeah, I don't care what you're saying. Ping or this vote's not here. Like I see what you did, but no. But
Uh,
yeah, it's about where we're at. If anyone has anything else to say, we've been yapping for like the Lord knows how long.
Not really. Honestly, not. I don't even think we've hit 2 hours.
Have we not? I don't know.
All right. Bye.
Okay.
Okay.
bye.
Bye,
Bye. See you
guys.
next time.